What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Saturday Night Hypnosis, episode number 44. I am your host, Hypnotic, in case you didn't know that for some odd reason. I know it's strange. It's kind of weird. But welcome to episode number 44, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot to talk about. I didn't stream this week. I was very busy, so definitely there's a lot I want to touch on today in the 3 hours that we have. So we're just going to get right into our intros because I want to start ASAP, ladies and gentlemen. And keep in mind, again, as I mentioned in the chat, if you want to hear the trans anthem and you want to hear trans people, all our friends, let's hit those like goals, ladies and gentlemen. Help promote the stream, get it out there, and let's say hello to our panelists. So we're going to start off with Atreus. What's going on, Atreus? How you doing, sir?
Yo, what up? What up? This is Certified Real Ninja. Atreus, you know.
I thought that was going somewhere completely different.
I thought I was gonna put Hood next to it, but no, he has.
I need like a bleep button. I was getting ready to pull my imaginary bleep button. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Y'all know me. I run the show over on my channel, Atreus. We're live on Kick every day except Sunday from 5 o'clock to whenever. Normally from 5 o'clock to about 8 o'clock. Today we're going to about 11 because it's Saturday Night Hypnosis, baby. So follow me on Kick, follow me on Twitter, Rumble, wherever whatever the case may be. And hey, I'm trying to defeat the algorithm right now. I'm in a rebellion against the algorithm. I don't know what's going on, but we're gonna beat it. You know what I'm saying? Like we always do. So shout out to y'all. We cover the movies, video games, pop culture, and politics over here. So let's get it. Thank God we don't have a coach on here, so y'all don't have to go after his intro. Otherwise, you know how that goes.
Damn.
His intro is slamming. What's up, Casey? Cassie. So, oh my God, jeez, I still do that. Why? Fuck my life.
Hey, now you know my pain. Damn it!
It's terrible. You would think by now I would get it down, but I'm just like bombing.
It's the first.
You all women look alike,
No, it's a name.
Damn.
It's a name. All right, speaking of women, Leona, take it away.
Hey, yeah. First of all, to any of you guys that are out there, Magic the Gathering fans, I decided to bite the bullet last night and do a couple of Magic the Gathering Lord of the Ring drafts. And let me tell you, Black Aragorn and all the woke shit aside, the set still kind of fucking blows. It's one of the most boring drafts I've ever been a part of. I did 2 drafts and thought, God, when will be over? It was such a lame experience. So not only is there woke shit going on, of course, with Magic the Gathering, but the cards just aren't fun either. So what are you gonna do? But yes, I am Leon on the channel Words of Paradise. You can come check us out. We cover nerdy news in general. Couple anime videos lately. A lot of prudes trying to get anime titties taken away from anime, which that's not gonna well with Eastern fans. But yeah, come over and check us out. We'll have a great time.
Absolutely. They can't take the titties away, man.
Let's talk about
they just can't do it.
No, we need our anime titties.
It's unacceptable. And we got good old Dragon Slayer commentaries, man. Take it away.
Hey everyone, it's our good old Dragon Slayer, and guess what? I make funny videos, just taking the shit at everything that Hollywood comes up with. And you know what, guys? We're gonna have a great time tonight because I just finally finished doing that stinking cursed Uwe Boll review of that Dungeon Siege movie he made that nobody remembers about, but your Dragon Boy here endured a lot of fucking psychological pain to get that set up. So you'll be getting in a few days. But other than that, guys, let's just get into it. I'm excited for today.
Hell yeah, man. I'm excited too. We also got Will the Fans. He is in fact alive. I know a lot of people still question that, but
Behold,
he's here.
I am among you. Hello, it's me. It's Will of D fans.
Wow.
If you like geeky videos about how radical race and gender agendas trash not only your entertainment, but basically threaten the entire concept of healthy civilization as well as your children's minds, if you like your content to begin with silly humor, but ultimately just dissolve into a guy ranting and getting angry and morally outraged, or if you just enjoy watching a guy taking huge dumps on Disney, then I'm your man. This week, I have mostly been killing Ganondorf, laughing at Activision owning themselves and refusing to buy a PS5 for just one game. As well as trying to avoid accidentally summoning the YouTube Kraken onto myself as I try to remind people that we actually can win the culture fight if we just believe that we can. Come and check me out if that sounds like it's going to float your boat, and I hope to see you there. Meanwhile, let's get on with the show.
That was pretty good, man. I feel like you practiced that one. That was
waiting.
There was
been
a lot
waiting
of
to use that one.
right,
Definitely been waiting.
Read off a script.
Something like
There was
that.
a lot of
Yeah,
there
he
was a lot
really
of
did.
pause-worthy moments in there.
Listen,
Just getting
Atreus,
better at it,
man.
that's all.
God,
I mean, I'm surprised none of you reacted to the caption I put of
I
me,
saw
you
the
know?
bigot foe was gonna catch his hands. Don't worry, I saw that.
No, the
Dragon
other
Clansman.
one,
No,
the
he
other
finally
one.
changed
saw
was
that.
to is. Thank
Like-
God. That was driving me crazy.
Yeah.
I mostly for
I see
Leon.
the caption.
He got very picky, but no, I'm surprised nobody reacted to leader
I'm
of the
getting my
Dragon
Nolan's
Clansman.
lens.
Yeah.
Because we already assumed since you're Hispanic,
Yeah.
you're a white supremacist, so it is what it is.
Oh,
All right.
Speaking
Speaking
of
of
white
white
supremacists,
supremacists,
where's
we got
Ryan?
Red Sings the Blues. What's going on, Red?
Oh my
Yes, because
god.
Red Sings the Blues is a white supremacist for some apparent reason.
Absolutely.
I don't know why people say that.
Fits the description.
All right, so I'm man behind the mic of Red Sings Blues. Been busy as of recently. I do social commentary videos. I guess you could say I've been demonetized. I guess YouTube has demonetized me, and so I've gotten. I consider it a badge of honor because it's like, oh, they took an interest to my channel now. But yeah, if you go on my channel, you know what I talk about. I talk about all different topics, what's going on in the world, and all that other stuff. So if you guys like good old commentary and just looking at it from like an independent lens, yeah, come over to my channel, man.
Absolutely. It seems like demonetization is a common theme amongst the people who either stream with me or hang out here or whatever. So this is just like the home of the demonetized people. Hopefully it doesn't come for the rest of you.
Algorithm.
Like,
I could say also the algorithm's been kind of screwing us all over too.
I think it's been
it honestly seems like the algorithm is doing colorblind casting. They're only focusing on certain people, which is kind of weird. I'm just saying, but
I got you your I got your little cheat sheet. Just put whatever you're doing. Say it makes Rings of Power look like a masterpiece, or say it's worse than Rings of Power. Somehow the algorithm is fine if you shit on Rings of Power.
Keywords, man. It's keywords.
Yeah,
Bro.
my
Cleopatra video.
It's going to be Sony footing the bill or Microsoft paying the bill for when Cassie gets demonetized, because one of them going to pay YouTube to shut this bitch up.
Cassie,
so.
I'm really surprised because Cassie be fucking flipping. But anyway,
you know how many times I've been offended listening to Cassie?
Bro, I feel like did Cassie really say that? And you know me, I say damn near
how many times she didn't give a fuck?
You fucking console losers, you fat gremlins. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, Xbox and Cassie's in the battle. You fucking console losers. I'm like,
bro, I feel you because I used to play console a long time ago, so I kind of felt that sting a little.
It's just aggravating watching people willingly give up what little fucking rights that they have.
Damn. You ain't lying. On that note, Cassie, Cult Classic Cage, take it away.
What's good, everyone? Yes, Cult Classic Cage. I am, I guess, the host of it, Cassie Cage. And, man, it's always good to be here with you guys. And whenever I do get the opportunity to, I love to stop by and hang out with everyone. And we have some awesome topics tonight, things that I'm passionate to discuss, being Final Fantasy 16, since I've been playing that quite a bit. But yeah, my channel revolves mostly around gaming. Sometimes I talk about really my channel is just a reflection of me and my thoughts at the time, so it's mostly gaming, but sometimes I do talk about general pop culture stuff, and just like to give a raw my thoughts. And some people may find that offensive, and some people may find that courageous, I guess. Really, I'm just trying to bring back old school YouTube. Okay, that's what I really want. Okay, if not on YouTube itself, then we'll take it to alternatives like Kick or something. That's what we gonna do. It is what it is. But I'm gonna keep it real at the end of the day, and I'll fight for even the rights of the consumers that don't even want rights to begin with. They just want to get fucked by Microsoft or PlayStation, whatever have you. I'll still fight for you, even though you want to get 2 fists up your ass. So.
Cassie's
That's a heroic statement right there.
Fucking gambling, it's immoral gambling.
Like, how are we demonetized, bro?
I just put that right
I don't even say half of this stuff.
Yo,
I think what I'm gonna do is next time I get a yellow $sign, I'm just gonna link them a video to Cassie. Be like, you guys allow this person.
I don't even monetize. I don't monetize any of my live streams. I already know what it is. Why am I gonna go down this route?
It's so true. All right. Speaking of,
with that though,
Speaking of white
Who
supremacy,
fished up your ass, bro?
Film
Oh,
Rebel.
Write that down.
Hey,
take it away.
What's up? I am Film Rebel and Why It's Metal. I run 2 channels, unlike these lazy bastards.
Wow.
I
A
run
lot of you
5.
might not know me because I haven't been here for a while. I've been busy shilling this whole week. I've been at VidCon shilling around these fucking influencer vanilla assholes that are driving me insane, putting on their plastic smiley faces. So I'm so excited to be here again to talk with real people who don't give a fuck, who will say some horrible shit that I'm ready to agree with. So you can jump on in here and let's get going.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Hell
Good to
yeah,
have you
brother.
back, Film Rebel.
Let's get going.
It's good. It's been man.
His
Like,
Why It's Metal channel is going absolutely insane, man. So I just want to
Yeah.
give a public congratulations to you
Thank
for
you.
for
Congrats
putting
on
in
that,
the
dude.
work and getting that YouTube algorithm sweet juice, man. Congratulations. It's good stuff. Once they find God damn it, Atreus. Once they find out that you are hanging out with us though, you know,
Yeah.
that might come to an end.
That's
So
it,
now that I'm here, that whole channel's gonna get shut down on being
Oh, for sure.
demonetized.
I mean, they're
pit
trying
with
to
all
get
of
it
you.
shut down, right? Like some dickhead is trying to get it shut down anyway. So
yeah, it's always
Well,
like
dude,
that.
at
Oh,
least
yeah,
you're not
yeah.
Why It's Punk. At least you're not a punk rock channel, because if that were the case, you'd be so pro-establishment nowadays. So
That's true.
Well, I'm
Damn.
about to start
Rage
doing
with the
K-pop,
machine.
That's what's going to give me views. If I got to do
Hey,
K-pop to get
hey,
views.
look. At least
Oh,
there's
no.
gay people, you know, dancing to a DMX, you know, that DMX song. Where
Dude,
the
that
hood
shit
at.
was so funny. I have to tell that because at this convention, it's all like the top influencers of like TikTok and shit. You know, most of these people are LGBT people, and the songs they're
no.
playing, one of them was DMX "Where the Hood At."
Oh
The
my
first,
god.
Like, the verse of that song is about how
Yeah,
much
really.
he fucking hates gay people, and they're all just like, "Hey." It's like, they're like, oh, no idea.
Because they only listen to the chorus of the song.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
just
problem.
want to explain
Popular.
fucking the man. Even if
Yeah.
we squash the beef, I ain't
Dude.
touching your hand.
That song came out at least 5 times.
It's true.
I'm not even kidding.
People are just so
I was
so
just standing
retarded.
there like, all right.
I'm
true,
not
right?
trying to
That's
get
a
you
line,
demonetized, Hypnotic. So
line right at
I'm
the
just
start
gonna
of that,
stay
it's like
quiet
I
and get to the topics.
I'm
It's
already
okay,
I'm
man.
already yellow, bro. I'm already yellow. Don't worry about it.
Just go for it. Just let her rip. At this point, like, you know, Cassie just with the fisting reference got us demonetized in less
What
than
a loss.
5
Not
minutes.
everyone's
Can you
demonetized.
can
So-
you not say it again?
Yeah, that's not
Well,
that's
I
not
mean,
fair.
Destroying glass ceilings
that's what it
everywhere.
is.
All right, let me
Glass ceilings
announce
by
let me
being the
announce the
most
topics.
foul-mouthed of all of us.
let me
man.
announce the topics tonight. So obviously, the main title card is Final Fantasy 16. We're going to talk about Final Fantasy 16. We can talk about the game itself. We're going to talk about all the beautiful controversy that's all made up, in my opinion, but it's surrounding this game from good old gaming journalists that I think I've made an ungodly amount of videos making fun of these people. And we're just going to have a good time roasting the likes of Kotaku and The Verge and Eurogamer and all these other nonsensical shill media websites that just couldn't wait to talk about how there isn't a black person in Final Fantasy and how it's upsetting to them when it's really not. We're also going to
That's
talk
so
about
racist.
Star Wars a little bit. We're going to talk about a little bit of feminism in Star Wars. We're also going to talk about how the Acolyte is using a trans woman to push female representation in Star Wars, which I thought was interesting. So there's that. We're also going to touch on the submarine thing a little bit because it's a story that's heard around the world, and apparently they knew that thing exploded like 4 days before they actually told everybody. So I thought that's pretty huge.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then-
you would think if they had any
They had
ethics
a
about
hint.
that, they would have told you immediately because people were really worried. that there was
yeah,
some
they gave people
struggling going
false
on.
hope, and they loved,
Yeah.
never let a good tragedy go to waste, right?
It was the media. That was
Yeah.
like the
I
countdown
was
call.
surprised at
Yeah.
that whole Titanic thing because I'm saying to myself, who cares about the Titanic? Like, what is like? I wake
Yeah.
up and I hear the Titanic. I'm like, what?
I was
Some
surprised.
people
Yeah,
just
I don't
they,
know.
when
The
you got
Titanic
money,
thing-
bro.
Same.
When
There's
money
a
doesn't
movie out.
excite
You can
you,
watch
you
it
got to
at home.
find something else to excite you. So sometimes,
But also
That's
it's
what it is.
distracting us from Hunter Biden and all his stupid
No.
shit.
Well, that's what it was.
It's true,
That
that's
was the
true.
real
You know.
issue because all 5 of those motherfuckers couldn't have fit on that door. So, if anything,
Yeah.
And the last topic we're going to talk
finally have
about
an
is
answer.
also Paramount Plus canceling a TV show that I said from the beginning they were going to cancel, which was Grease: Rise of the Pink Ladies, as well as Star Trek
What?
Prodigy.
No way.
Star Trek
There's more to
Prodigy
that
got
story.
canceled.
There's
Yeah.
more to that story. I can tell you.
Yeah, we're going to get into a lot today.
I'm surprised you didn't cover that New Hampshire. You know what I'm talking about? That
Yeah.
transgender first
Yeah.
representative. I'm
Yeah,
surprised you didn't cover that.
I will. Don't worry.
It's
I
been
will.
a big week. There were
When it
so many
comes to
different
sorry,
thoughts.
sorry, I
We
got
got
to
wait for
chime
Ryan
in.
to get here before we start talking about trannies. It's his thing.
Oh, well,
Tranny
look,
demons.
don't worry. In honor of Ryan, I'm just gonna say, Atreus, don't worry, my good black man. We will be talking about the tranny demons very soon. Just hold on tight
Tranny
now.
demon.
You sounded more like Paul Joseph Watson.
What?
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is. Hold on.
All right. With that being said, let's get into the first topic because this is going to be a long one. So let's get into Final Fantasy 16. Talk about it. Touch on it real quick. You guys know, like this is not a new thing. Okay. So apparently Kotaku, and I remember this came out like November, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, November of 2022. They wrote an article talking about how upset they were that Final Fantasy 16 was lacking diversity and that it was overwhelmingly white because clearly gameplay and storytelling means nothing when it's just white characters. For people who supposedly don't care about skin color and skin color doesn't mean anything, you suddenly care a lot when it's all white, but that's neither here nor there. But the main thing is you also have a piggyback article. So I just want to bring this up before I do bounding into comics. We have a piggyback article from The Verge saying Final Fantasy 16's lack of diverse characters makes a huge world feel small. Like Game of Thrones, Final Fantasy 16 also fails when it comes to inclusion. Didn't Game of Thrones like add diversity into it in the latest I don't watch the show, but didn't they do that?
Didn't they
They
make,
do it in
Race
their
swapped an
lore,
entire
like,
family
black
line, didn't they?
Targaryens or something?
Well,
There was a dude.
Yeah, well, you're talking about House of Dragon, but in the lore, I know
Yeah.
there's probably like people.
there's a lot of
that
black
live
people.
in.
There's a lot of black people in Game of Thrones. I rewatched
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I mean,
That is such a
representative.
lie. That is one of the biggest lies. There are quite, now obviously there's going to be quite more white people than there are black people, but that's how it was.
I mean,
There were
it's another
definitely-
place that's based on
Game,
the
Game of
UK
Thrones
and
is
Europe.
unique that if you take out all the black people, you would still have an insane amount of murder.
Yeah. I'm surprised it took you guys so long to get that.
Jesus.
Sorry, I
Oh,
was
man.
reading this because I'm trying to
I forgot how
understand
blunt the stream is.
the idiocy behind what was being typed here.
Look, the question of the game is this: do consoles still, send out fumes if the game goes beyond 30 frames per second, or can it go beyond 30 frames per second? That's what I'm curious about.
No.
It's struggling. The game is admittedly struggling, and you know what?
Yep.
I mean, it's the fucking consoles, bro. Like they're not gonna be able to handle certain games. And to be honest with you, a lot of these developers don't want to put in the time to make them absolutely optimized to the point where they can actually run perfectly the way that they probably could. Like I'm sure Final Fantasy 16 could run at 60 frames with decent graphics. I'm sure it could. But between budget cuts and time frame and everything like that, I just highly doubt they're going to put in the time to make that happen. That's just my opinion. I mean, Cassie can kind of weigh in because she probably knows more. But
let me tell you something. Just real quick, I
No.
want to say something real
for
quick. So the thing is, the reason why I say they most of the time with developers, you're right, they don't like to optimize everything for consoles. And no, it's not because they're being little salty bitches that don't want to do extra work. Most of these development studios are on a specific contractual timeline that they need to fulfill. And sometimes publishers, especially EA, but I know this is not the same publisher, but publishers like Square Enix as well, they're very annoying when it comes to telling developers to meet their deadlines. And sometimes developers will simply look at things like console optimization and say, yeah, we can maybe do a cut here in order to use more of our time on handling the core aspects of the game, because that's what we need to make sure is correct so that people can actually play it and enjoy what we have built.
So what you're saying is that Submersible and Final Fantasy 16 both have cut corners in common.
Yeah.
gonna
Well,
talk about
when it
Submersibles
comes
right
to
now.
the frame rate, yes, optimization and those sort of things. Because let's be honest, man, telling a development studio on a very strict scheduled timeline to also devote extra time that they probably don't have on optimizing a game for consoles because the publisher demands it is the equivalent of you telling me that apart from using the budget that we already have for making a movie, we also need to spend extra time and money in order to make sure the movie comes out both on theaters and on a streaming service at the exact same time. That is stupid and near impossible with a very limited tight schedule. Okay, not even on crunch, I highly doubt they would be able to have optimized it. Okay, because let's be honest, guys, they can't pull off the BioWare magic, and on top of that, half the time the BioWare magic ends up shitting the bed.
Thing is, though, when it comes to, so Final Fantasy 16 was made by the same guy who saved Final Fantasy 14, right? So Yoshida is very known for taking his time and trying to get it right. So I don't know if I necessarily believe myself when I say, oh, maybe the developers just didn't want to fully optimize the game, which makes me think that maybe the hardware just isn't there. But I think also due to time restraints, like you said, that it's just, I think they just couldn't do it. They might have wanted to, but they just couldn't, if that makes sense, right? Cassie, what do you think?
Honestly, a developer wants to make sure that their product is in fully working order all around. I do feel a little bit like I was bullshitted when they're like, yeah, this game is so ready, it doesn't even necessarily need a day one patch. That was BS, because this needs like a month 1, a month 2 patch. Like this game could have did with having like 6 more months in the oven to just iron out the performance and the visuals, because the game literally looks blurry. It's sad.
Is it an open world game?
It's not. That's the
what?
weird thing
It's
about it.
more like open district. So like
it's like hub
like
worlds.
zones.
Is that like
They're
FF7 remake where it's chapters and stuff?
Yeah. No, 7 was more linear.
Oh,
So
it's
is it more linear, but then it has like open hub
It has
areas?
open zones. Like it's like I don't know how to explain. I'm trying to think of a
it's
game
like
to compare
Diablo
it to.
3. It's like Diablo 3, right? Like Diablo 3 zones.
Well,
Sure,
you kind of just
Open but
teleport
restricted?
to different areas.
that's
you
Diablo
can't
3.
really just run around the whole world.
Genuinely the most impressive thing about it is the lack thereof of like loading screens, like it, because like they take you to this map and then you can go to these different areas and you just click that area and then you're instantly there in like 3 or 4 seconds. So on that front it's good, but when it comes to general performance, visuals, it is very, very lackluster. The thing that really makes the game shine in some areas is the art style. I think that they have a beautiful art style, but it looks very soft. So that's the sad reality of it. It is Square Enix. They're pushing out their games, and I would like to think that this game was pushed out specifically. I feel like a lot of games now are suffering, and I hope it's due to the response to the COVIDs.
Right.
Because if this becomes the norm for the next 10 to 15 years, it's horrifying. And do I think it has something to do with the consoles? To an extent. There's limitations with the consoles naturally. That's never going to change. They are, budget boxes. They are budget boxes at the end of the day. Yes, and that's what makes it strange. The fact that it is a PS5 exclusive. They didn't have to. There's really no excuse other than Square wanted to push this out to meet their deadline, because they didn't have to optimize it for many a console. Did all the consoles and PC? No, there's none of that. It's just simply the game was put out early.
And here's the problem. Here's the problem. If they push back 16. If they push back 16, they'd have to push back 7 Remake 2. They can't have them come out like right next to each other. That's why they wouldn't give this game another 6 months.
Here's the thing. My question is, if this game runs like this, and it's like very small areas for the most part. There's some open areas, but it's not really that big. They're just hub areas. I can't even call them like hub worlds. They're hub areas. How is Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 going to run? Because that's supposed to be a lot more open than Midgar. It's supposed to be a big open world. How the fuck is that going to run if you're telling me this cannot run? It doesn't matter the discs. It's really the performance, how much horsepower is there going to be? How are they going to make sure that this game is going to be optimized? Because I have a hard time believing, especially with Square Enix. I mean, the solution is holding back the game until it's actually ready. That's really the solution. But they're
too. I mean, look, let's be honest. I don't know why. I get why in the Final Fantasy franchise, Square Enix is very obsessed with making sure that all of their Final Fantasy games mostly come out on the PlayStation. I understand. It's a classic, and I'm sure they've been with them for the longest damn time. And it's a good business relationship. But here's the thing. they have to finally realize that, the pipe dream of the past where they were like, oh, the console is going to overcome the PC one day and be its equal. It's gone.
Never.
I am
It's a
sorry.
Japanese thing, though, isn't it?
But the thing is, it's never going to happen. And the thing is, quantum computers will be coming out in a few decades, which are supposed to be even like hundreds of times faster than the ones that we have now.
Try thousands of times. Quantum computing is going to
thousands,
be a game changer.
But here's the issue, though.
But the thing is, like,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how powerful the box you are making a game for is if the game isn't properly handled. If the game does not complete the development cycle, then it doesn't matter how powerful your PC is. It's still gonna run like shit. Look at Forspoken. That game looks like like an early last gen game. It needed a fucking 4080 to run right.
But that's the diversity higher games, bro.
Cassie,
they put diversity higher, black character on the cover of the game, and next thing you know, the game runs like shit. It's like you got it off of a hood thrift store. It sucks. I'm making fun of it because I didn't play the game. So just watching someone play it for like an hour told me everything I needed to know about how trash it is. Just the dialogue itself is infuriating.
Just to kind of piggyback though, when it comes to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth or whatever, I can believe that it will run better simply because they're not designing a whole new game from the ground up. They're just kind of taking what they had from 7 Remake and recreating different assets and whatnot. They already have the engine down for the most part.
But do you think that's acceptable though? Because I personally don't. For a game that's like going to be another $70.
I think it's acceptable that they fucking split one game into 3. Like, I'm just throwing that out there. I think it's bullshit. But again, coupled with the fact that
I do want to say consistency does matter. I'm okay with reused assets because I want, like, let's say look at the MCU back in the day. Consistency was a big reason why those movies were so good. So if you're going to make a sequel to a game, I would like visual consistency. So reused assets, I'm actually A-okay with, so that it looks like it fits in with the previous entry.
It just annoys me that they split this game into 3 though, because they could have because with Rebirth, it proves that they could have went the multi-disc route, right? So like you could have gave me the entire game in one box and gave me 3 discs or whatever, however many discs it would have took, maybe 4, who knows, but probably 4.
So here's why I think they did that though, because you got to remember when Final Fantasy VII Remake was first announced, it was like 2014. It was fucking forever ago. And if you remember gaming at that point in time, so many games were coming out as episodic releases. You had the Walking Dead games were doing it. You had Resident Evil games doing it. Episodic releases were becoming the norm, and I think they probably thought that would stay the case, and that phase of gaming just fucking blew by. But they'd already committed to doing it like that, so.
Right,
I mean, I agree.
They weren't 3 years apart, though.
Yeah, I think they should have done it in one game. I'm just looking back then. If you remember that phase of gaming, I get why they made that choice. It's like gaming companies that doubled down on.
I get why, from a money perspective, why would they make that choice?
For sure.
I mean, it's kind of gross, man. It's like Final Fantasy VII Remake, then the DLC. Now we're gonna have Part 2, and then there's probably gonna be DLC to that. There'll probably be 3 spin-offs to these games, and then they'll have the ending.
Cheat codes.
I mean, that's just Square Enix these days, isn't it? This is milk it for everything it's worth. It's not even that surprised that it seems that FF7 Rebirth is more important to them than the mainline numbered Final Fantasy 16.
It's just that bottom line, dude.
Well, just to speak on the whole diversity part of it, because I haven't played the game, so I can't really speak on what they're talking about.
Yeah, let's jump on it.
Back. Yeah, just going back to the whole. Let me let y'all in on something. I'm black. All right, I live in Atlanta.
What?
No shit.
What the
dude?
What the hell is even that?
There's no fucking way.
You painted yourself black, man.
I know this is news
on for too long.
Bro, there's absolutely no way.
But just being a person who's been secretly black this entire time, I'm letting y'all know now, niggas don't play Final Fantasy. I'm niggas. I'm talking about. I ain't talking about like the gamers. Niggas don't play Final Fantasy. So this whole idea of there needs to be more diversity, I guarantee you. All right, I said guarantee. There are no black people asking for this. There is most black people got the Negro Casual collection. All right. Cassie was in the chat when I was talking about this the other day. All right. The Negro Casual Collection consists of Madden, NBA 2K, Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty. All right. Sprinkle in a little WWE.
Brett, can you confirm this?
Me? I mean, I've
Hey,
played Final
you're
Fantasy.
the other
I've played
black man
Final
in the
Fantasy
panel.
from-
We need confirmation for
All right,
black
all right.
stereotypes
So-
that another
so-
black man says.
All right.
So,
all
so,
right.
so what you're
I've
saying
seen-
is
Outright
they
for
need to
being
add
black?
black characters to Mario as well.
Madden,
Like we need
Call
more.
of
But,
Duty.
but
thought it-
here's
I thought
the
it was
thing.
obvious.
Let Brett speak. Let Brett speak. Go ahead, Brett.
I mean, I thought it was obvious that I was black, but I guess. But I guess if we're kind of thinking about it, have I played Final Fantasy? Yes. I have not played Final Fantasy since Final Fantasy VII, and for that reason, I say their engine was already screwed up during the PlayStation era. So I'm like, oh, Final Fantasy 16. People have been saying, hey, you're gonna play Final Fantasy 16. I said, no. I mean, Square Enix, like I said with Cage, I mean, they could have at least sat on the they could have sat on the game for at least a bit before they kind of release it. I just think honestly, people release video games nowadays just to release the video game, not because that they want to make a quality game. And honestly, that's just been the thing for the longest. Like I'm just like, okay, I want to play a video game. I'm looking at the title, but I'm also looking at the graphics, the story, and all that stuff. But
let me ask you this though: do you, as a black person, have you like, I don't know how old you are, but like I'm 30,
27.
Okay, in the 27 years you've been here, how many black people homes have you gone into that had a video game where they had a Final Fantasy game?
Not a lot. It depends.
Well,
It depends.
I
It depends. Well, honestly,
Damn.
hold on a second. It kind of depends. Like if I'm in like the project, you're not gonna see nobody with Final Fantasy, of course.
But not just the
But
project.
if I'm well, hold on. If I'm in the upper class, if I'm up in the upper echelon, you might see one or two people you might see one or two black people that might have it. You know what I'm saying? But it
Okay.
depends.
No, I didn't grow up in the hood.
But they bought them
That's
second hand, like GameStop used. So
But here's the thing. I have a lot of, male black friends that I've met just by playing on PS4 last gen. Like they're some of my longtime best friends and they love Final Fantasy. But like a lot of these individuals, some of which live in places like Newark, New Jersey, like Atlanta, Georgia, can they go to people around them generally and discuss Final Fantasy? No. Like my one of my homies, Blake, when he's at his job, he can't really discuss Final Fantasy with his peers because they don't play those games. They typically play your Call of Duties, your GTAs, things such as that, and he can't really have those discussions with people in his general area who also happen to be majority black. So I mean, it is what it is on that front. So it is like a minority thing. There are definitely black people that do play Final Fantasy, but it is a small majority.
It's a small.
And just to drive it
It is
home,
small.
I told
because,
my stream the other day about, I made a comment on Facebook the other day about how Madden 24 was going to be trash, and then some nigga responded to me and was like, "Imagine us listening to a nigga who played Final Fantasy." That's how black people feel. That's how a lot of black people feel about Final Fantasy. And so, for these people in the media to be like, "Oh, it needs more diversity." For what? You gonna put niggas in there and they don't even know about the game?
I mean,
here's the thing.
The track record's not great. So
I mean, this is the person who wrote the article, just so you know. So,
but real quick, I
played
mean,
Final
this
Fantasy
is a game. This is a game that touches on topics such as slavery. Of course, they would feel touchy about adding black people to a game that has topics of discussion such as slavery.
I hear it's
It has got
pretty
a lot
bad too.
better
Like
than
it's
it
pretty
used to
like
be, too,
in depth.
'cause there was a time when you could basically guarantee if Square Enix were making a game with a black person in it, it would be like the most unbelievable stereotypical shit, like Barrett or Saz from FF13. That just like, what's his character?
was Barrett
like?
really stereotypical?
black.
Because I've never heard of the stereotype of the black guy that actually cares about the environment. So
Oh,
And it's
Wow.
always
No,
a
but,
black
you know,
dude with the
it's
most
like what
stereotypical
Japan
deep voice.
because Japan has always like tried to keep itself fairly ethnically pure until recently, where their population is in such terrible trouble that they're actually promoting tourism now. But it's more that it's like, okay, 1997. Hey, Japanese people, what's a black guy? They go, let me think. Mr. T. and then they put that in again.
I mean, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Well,
And
they
that's
always
basically
draw.
what Barrett is. You know?
Yeah, they always draw the black characters like big, muscular, usually super short hair, obviously.
Flattering as
And
fuck.
they're almost always angry. Almost always angry. Barrett was
That's it.
constantly angry for no fucking reason. Even when he was happy, he was angry. It just made no
They
sense.
always got that
Even like when he
stereotypical
sees
deep
his
voice for
daughter.
no reason. And
Right.
they're always too cool for school. It's like, bro, no black dudes that's that cool, bro.
He
Like,
gets
stop.
home, he sees his daughter, and he's like, Marlene!
You gotta remember though, Final
He
Fantasy
does the
7 came
black
out in the
version of
90s.
pushing
That was
up his
black people's
glasses.
apex of being cool. Like Michael Jordan was a thing, Will Smith was a thing. That was prime time cool black people.
And Japan
100%.
missed it.
I actually liked Saz from Final Fantasy
weren't
13. I
watching
thought he was a
it.
good character.
Sad
He was a little
story.
stereotypical, though.
He was kind of one-dimensional. But then everything in 13 was. That's about the time I started giving up on the series.
Absolutely.
Will, you are the most correct person on this panel right now.
I want to read this because this is okay. So this was I guess this person's black. I don't know. She looked black, but
Parish.
What's
She's a
first?
light-skinned morenita. Don't worry about it, man.
all right, we're gonna go with that. But read what this person says. So early in Final
Also, I
Fantasy
do have a
16.
question.
Go ahead, hurry up, go.
Why are half of the black women, actually no, I would say 75% of the women that write these articles seem to be light-skinned black women? Like,
Because they're angry.
The dark skin
what?
black
That they're,
women-
that they're
'cause
light-skinned? Did they
mixed
not
race
know that
people are
white
the
guys
new
like
area.
light-skinned ones more?
No, it's people who don't belong in
Oh.
certain spaces wanting to insert themselves. So she doesn't
Oh.
actually
Yeah.
play. She doesn't actually play video games. This person
Yeah,
doesn't play
100%.
video games. That's what I mean. It has nothing to do with her skin color. She just doesn't play video games. So she's trying to insert herself in there with the only topic that she knows how to speak about, which is race. So
I bet
that's
you she's
essentially
never
what
played
she's
any
doing.
Final Fantasy game.
Is this
I
the
highly doubt
review?
she's played a game in general. But regardless,
Yeah.
look what she said. So early in Final Fantasy 16 marketing cycle, producer Yoshida was asked about the apparent lack of inclusion, which I remember making a video. What the fuck happened here? Why did I do that? Then she says his answer wasn't great. Why wasn't it great? Anyway, essentially stating that including people of color would violate the narrative boundaries established by the fantasy world the developers created. He did not say that. He did not say that. He said that the characters and the world was heavily influenced and built around the idea of European culture, which I'm sure you guys are aware. Most are not probably of darker skin color, especially when you're dealing with royal families or the royal family line and things like that. So that's why he made that particular line. And
Well,
she
it's
says
not
his
even
answer
darker
wasn't
skin
great.
color,
It's
because like
just
you're not going to see a
unheard
lot
of.
of Asians in fucking European culture, and yellow is a pretty bright color.
and then it's here's the best part. So it says earlier this year she followed up. She actually followed up on this. She asked him again about the same fucking question. It's so annoying when you have like certain people that clearly want to get a response out of you, a certain kind of response, and they just can't handle the fact that you gave them a nonchalant answer and it's not what they wanted to hear. So she followed up, and then he said, I believe that with Final Fantasy 16, we weave together a variety of peoples and cultures set in this kind of sweeping fantasy narrative and world, and one that we strive to create with care and respect. Yoshida responded, we hope that when players finally are able to take up the game in their own hands, that they will be able to see what we've aimed for, and we will hopefully ultimately be able to connect with that unique experience. Then she says, with the game now in my hands, I can finally see what Yoshida and the narrative team were going for, and I don't get the care or the respect. So she's just mad.
Maybe
that
it's
it's
not for you.
Even in Final Fantasy, I get no respect.
But here's
Like-
the thing. So this is what annoys. Okay,
It
so
wasn't made
this
for
is
you.
what annoys me the most, and then I'll let you guys jump on it. What annoys me the most is that when you do cater to people like this, right, which you should never do, in my opinion, but
Never.
when you do cater to people like this, what ultimately ends up happening is that they're never satisfied, right? So in this scenario, she's talking about this particular area, Dalmatia, which is supposed to represent or be visually close to like the Middle East, right? So there's a lot of dark-skinned people there. But she says that it's just stereotypical diversity where all the people in the sand area essentially have turbans and scimitars and all that stuff, and it's not real representation. So then what the fuck do you want?
How the fuck
It has,
is that
it has
not
nothing
real
to do. It has
representation?
nothing to do with
These fucking
regions
idiots
and like
get there.
cultures.
But
All these
that's the
fucking
type of
idiots.
clothing.
This is how they see the world. It's just a series of stereotypes. No, stupid
Yeah.
motherfucker.
but
It's
the
based on
turbans, like
reality.
okay, but the turbans. I'm sorry, but with turbans, if you live out in the desert, most likely you're going to be wearing robes and turbans made out of cotton because
Yeah.
guess what? It's very good at absorbing sunlight so that you don't die from heat
Yes.
stroke. because
right,
guess what? The
Dragon
desert is
Slayer.
very
Stuff
hot.
to make it for them.
Yeah, and curved swords, by the way, okay, you could, that's more of a, they took more of a liberty with a Middle Eastern archetype, but at the
Everybody
same
loves a
time,
sword,
it's
so
just
it's
a
cool.
damn sword. It's supposed to give you a cultural difference that is completely normal. What annoys me about these writers is that they don't seem to understand that when we're talking about diversity, you don't need to fucking turn someone black when they were white. You can express that via the cultures. We are more diverse than the color of our skins. In fact, cultures increase the depth of diversity in any civilization. So just them saying, "Oh, if it doesn't have a black person here that looks at like this exactly according to my preconceived notions, then it's not diverse enough, and you are disrespectful." Bullshit.
The
This is
curved
thing,
sword
isn't it?
thing
They
makes no
don't want
fucking sense.
reality.
Prince of Persia is one of the most long-lasting video game series of all time. Guess what? Persian. They got curved fucking swords. Like, it's not a stereotype. That's
It's their
accurate.
culture. They
Yeah.
did have
Accurate.
scimitars.
Yeah,
They
did have
still
The thing
do
is-
have
scimitars,
the thing
scimitars.
is, they're trying to spin stereotype like it's a negative term. Nigga, I stereotype people
Yes.
all the time, including my own people. Like this whole idea you're trying to put like stereotype. Yes, it's a stereotype. There's a reason stereotypes exist. It's a defense mechanism. It's biologically wired in all of us. All right, you know what I'm saying? I see, somebody with a hoodie on. I'm gonna think they up to no good, which is why I carry a hoodie on. You know what I'm saying? People leave it alone.
But then look what she says too. She says that but for all the stereotypical shorthands the game uses to scream at the viewer, "Hey, you're in a non-white place now. You can tell because men are wearing turbans, their swords are curved, and there's a sitar playing. Final Fantasy 16 fails to truly commit to the bit."
That's a fucking
it.
Now, do you
retarded
think that
statement.
she
Shut up.
truly
It's
believed this
ridiculous.
nonsense, or is this a grift? That's the question. Does she
It's a
believe
grift.
that
The
some
level
shit
in
she-
Russia is full of Russian signs and Russian buildings, and it's just
Oh.
why
She's
it's
been
just so
playing Tears of the
stereotypical.
Kingdom for
Dude,
weeks.
really?
Those Gerudo
She
bitches have
trained
got
this shit.
scimitars as well.
Guys, you know what she was talking about with the sitar, man? This is bullshit. I can't believe she is that
Sitar?
fucking petty. Like, I'll show you a picture what a sitar is, for Christ's sakes.
You talking about a sitar as in the
sitar,
Indian
scimitar,
instrument?
because they're very
A
different.
No. Like
scimitar is a
sitar,
sword.
sitar. Yeah, I'm showing the
Oh,
screen so you
okay.
can see what they're talking about.
A
Oh, you're
sitar
sharing the
is-
screen?
is the
Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
Indian instrument.
It's a
of the-
lute.
Yeah,
It's just a type of
it's a
lute.
big,
That
big
is
fucking
it.
lute. Yeah.
Yeah, it has a unique,
racist.
different sound due to the strings, and it's a very ancient tool.
They became
of
really popular in
projecting
the
music.
1970s.
And having
Yeah.
those is considered stereotypical.
Stereotypically Arabic. I mean,
No, I'm saying
Indian.
to her.
I guess she's
Indian.
saying. I guess she thinks. I think this is how she sees.
Why would it be bad to include things that are found
Yeah.
very popular in certain cultures? Like, why would it be
Yeah.
bad to include that? If you're trying to
that's
base
social
an area, you're trying to base an area off of that. Like, why would you not? Like, I wouldn't want to see a bunch of white dudes in turbans if you're supposed
Yeah,
to be.
exactly.
you'd be like,
the
wow.
Middle
That's
East,
what
like,
happens.
what
You
the
go to
fuck?
this area of the game and they're
Unless
doing
it's
the weird
Lawrence of
thing.
Arabia.
Yeah.
If you
Because
put the
it's kinda
cultural
like-
heritage
Why
of
is
these
the
parts
level
of
in
the world
Africa
in,
full of black
then-
people? This is so racist.
well, that's it. If you put the cultural heritage of a certain
Resident
part of the
Evil 5 in a
world
nutshell.
into that sort of fantastical version of that part of the world, and you include the things from that culture in reality, then you're a racist. But if you don't do it, then you're a racist.
It's
Right.
just it's a
So-
catch
so
22.
what it
You
is-
can't- you can't win.
It's kind of like this. It's like this trap of you're trying to make it seem like that's the only thing we can do. Like it's kind of like the whole argument, like when you get a black person who's successful, or they got to be an entertainer or athlete or something like that. Oh, you think being an athlete is the only thing we can do? No, it's not the only thing we can do. But
No.
bitch, we're the number ones doing it. Like the NFL
the
is
better
70%
athletes
I,
than
black.
I do want to
people.
address a comment in the chat real quick, though. And I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just curious what you mean, Sailor Mercury, because you say, I personally wish Final Fantasy didn't model, or I wish Final Fantasy 16 wasn't modeled after real Western culture, but instead kept it fantasy. Like what? But high fantasy, traditional fantasy already has a massively
Already very
Western
Yeah.
influence behind it. So
Like it's
by
medieval
making it
culture.
Western, that is traditional fantasy. So I'm just not quite sure what you
Well,
Final
I think there is a
Fantasy
level of
was based on
traditional.
European-
Like
Sorry.
I do feel as though Final Fantasy 16 does have like traditional, like Western, like obviously inspiration. But I think there's different perspectives to look at it from. I don't necessarily completely agree with Sailor Mercury, but things such as, well, we're going to put the the dub first in terms of
Oh, you know, she
call it,
clarified.
like,
She says in the
lip-syncing?
chat, I mean, like Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy
FF7
VII
is
is
not
actually
medieval.
less
It's
fantasy
not.
than
It's
something
not
like
fantasy.
16. Like
Yeah,
Final Fantasy VII is less
like,
fantasy and more
FF7 is
sci-fi.
cyberpunk.
Is
Yeah,
she
yeah,
referring to the
literally
fact
cyberpunk.
that? Wait. So, so she referring to the fact that she wanted the game to be less grounded in realism and more like over the top fantasy, like in some other JRPGs? Is that what you're trying to say? I'm just.
And again, I'm not trying to call you out, by the way. I'm just curious.
We're just curious.
You made an interesting comment that I'm trying to rationalize. I hope you don't think I'm just me coming at you.
I do personally think it's weird that they would choose to lip sync the English voice acting as opposed to the Japanese voice acting. I mean, like, it is kind of strange. It's one of those things that is kind of becoming the norm, and I just have to wonder why.
Wider audience.
Well, to be fair, speaking English has always been considered really hip and cool in Japan, so it could just be because of that. Like, when I took years of Japanese, my Japanese teacher, my sensei, she was Japanese. She was a 25-year-old Japanese woman, smoking hot, by the way. And she told us really cool things about Japan. And yeah, speaking English is awesome. That's why, like, when you have characters in Japanese games, like Sonic the Hedgehog is a pure example of it. They often speak more English dialogue, even in the Japanese dubs, than other characters, because it's to emphasize they're the cool character.
But traditionally, pretty much the default setting for any fantasy story, if you want to just go to the archetypal fantasy genre, it's very, very, very based on European medieval and post-medieval history. That's always the way it's been, because that's where most of the sort of legends of things like dragons and stuff like that came from, which is why Final Fantasy 1, Final Fantasy 2, Final Fantasy 3, Final Fantasy 5, all very, very based on European. Not just Final Fantasy, loads of RPGs, all very influenced by European style Western fantasy. FF7 and FF6. FF6 was kind of steampunk. FF7 was cyberpunk. FF8 was straight sci-fi. And then FF10 was very, very based on Asia rather than European mythology, which is why it feels so completely different from anything else in the series. So
the one thing,
go on.
Genuinely speaking, the one awesome thing about Final Fantasy 16 that I do praise it for is it's the first time, I think, in a while, at least for me personally, where I've looked at Final Fantasy and say, oh, they're really doing something different. It's been, Final Fantasy, the franchise, is known for like taking risks and really changing things up. And I mean, one of my favorite games, honestly, is Final Fantasy 12, and they really
different for the time.
Shit up with that one. Yeah, it's like cool. they decided to make an MMO for lonely people like me, so I appreciate them for that.
They started that game with the engine from 11, and then greatly improved on it.
They really
took out all the annoying other people.
I really got to get up on my Final Fantasy, man. I'm so lost.
But you know what?
Gambit's
what's
fucking cool too, by the way.
Cassie, when you mentioned the fact that the game has like slavery in it, right? So this person did actually note that and says that, and then uses that as a means to, like, I guess, justify why there should be more diversity in it. Because I don't know why they want black people so bad in a game that it clearly showcases slavery. It's just kind of weird. But she says,
is it the same argument they made for Little Mermaid?
I think so. Yeah. It is actually. It is, which is interesting. They all use the same argument.
And
it says, knowing all this about the game's plot, I think I understand why Yoshida and Final Fantasy XVI's developers were so reluctant to talk about the inclusion of people of color in the game. Maybe they thought that with a monochrome cast, nobody would think too hard about the uncomfortable parallels between the way bearers are treated and the way African and Jewish people have been treated throughout history. I'm actually shocked she included Jewish people. Usually they just want to talk about themselves. Or they thought to dodge accusations of racism if people subjected to this treatment were all white or white adjacent. Oh, so they're saying, basically what she's saying is that if the slaves in the game were black, she would have called them racist, essentially. She's saying that they're dodging accusations of racism by making the slaves in the game white or making the game all white. But you can't win with these fucking psychos.
Yeah, so I don't
understand why niggas just don't get that. Asian folks don't like niggas like that. Like, just get over it.
Look, the thing that really speaks like to me with this article, this person just will never see themselves in a scenario where they personally don't see themselves at the bottom. Like that to me is a sad state of mind. You always, no matter what you will do in life to succeed, you will always see yourself at the bottom. From a standpoint, if you don't stand behind yourself, then like who's going to stand up for you? Like, why don't you get yourself out of that mindset where you always see yourself at the fucking bottom? But at the end of the day, the reality is in America, the way we discuss race, other countries look at us like we're fucking retarded. And they honestly should. Like, honestly, we in America need to kind of shut the fuck up about how other countries depict and discuss race, because it's completely different. And while there's definitely racism in everywhere, no doubt, there's at least someone racist in every country that exists. That is a reality. But like the way that Japan sees race versus the way we do, I mean, people in Japan were asked, like, do you feel offended that Scarlett Johansson is playing Motoko Katsuragi in the Ghost in the Shell, a live action? And they didn't give a fuck. We in America felt as though they should be upset.
Not only did they not give a fuck, the author of Ghost in the Shell said he supported it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like clearly
the overwhelming amount of anime and manga style, sort of stylistically.
All they care about is
people don't look Japanese. They don't look very Japanese. They look
Well, his whole argument for Ghost in the Shell specifically was only the brain is Asian, the body's a robot, so the body can look like whatever. If they'd have made Scarlett Johansson fucking black, or obviously not Scarlett Johansson, but if they'd have made the major Makoto black and just said it's a Japanese brain in a robot body, that would still fit the context of the fucking story. It wouldn't be a race swap or whatever.
Well, look at what this comment said on this article. And it makes a point because nobody ever does say anything. So they said, did anyone complain when Ghost of Tsushima was 100% Japanese? You know what I mean? Nobody ever complains when it's 100% Japanese. Nobody ever complains when it's 100% black. Nobody complains when it's 100% anything other than white. If it's white, then we got a problem.
That game wasn't even made by Japanese people.
I know.
When they did the press for Ghost of Tsushima, the Japanese historians that they did interviews with were there praising them for their knowledge of their culture. Exactly. So it's just like they just steeped themselves in
they took the time
and actually learned
to learn the culture.
That was also interesting to watch, that whole situation where they was really impressed, like watching some of the reviews from Japanese.
And they set that game in a very little known era in Japanese history as well. There was not much to go on. Oh, there he is.
Hypno couldn't have Atreus at the end there. That'd be too racist. Like,
great to see the Afro Man to the right of me. I hope you're doing well. My good, I know they're dreadlocks, but it's great to
say
see
tranny demon. Just say tranny demon.
Hold on.
Shut up, Filipino.
Is it sundown already? Ryan's in here. It's sundown already, apparently.
What?
Can you tell by his glistening skin?
It's blinding, motherfucker.
I'm gonna need sunglasses for the rest of this. Clearly,
white skin illuminates in the darkness.
Dude, that is some next level white, man. You beat Leon. That's crazy.
Right?
I
Crazy.
got a ring
like
light
a
right
proper
in my face, and he's
Welshman.
whiter than me.
It's great to
goddamn
see you.
mayonnaise.
Although I do live in a tropical country, so fair enough.
You only live there because of the women, Filipino. I mean, Willipino.
No. I came for the freedom. I stayed for the women. Make that clear.
This person is getting completely roasted, by the way, in the comments.
Because she's stupid when she wrote this. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to sound childish.
No,
but
you're right. She's
that
stupid all the
entire
time.
article, like, okay, I'm sorry if some people get offended, like, oh, you just said she's stupid. Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
She wrote.
Well, she is. She's a woman.
Oh my!
Is that what we consider?
We're already going there, huh?
To be honest, it's actually a little racist for her to request people of color from a game made by another country that notoriously doesn't really have many people of color there. And it's kind of like, oh, you need to make the game based on what I want here in America, even though it's coming from Japan, and you guys have a completely different
Look,
culture and whatnot.
like,
But
hey,
hey,
nobody
listen to
never
us.
cares.
they never attack places where racism is seriously and severely out of control.
Oh, yeah,
Like, say,
yeah.
for example, China,
They don't
where
do
you
shit.
can
China,
have a detergent commercial where they put a black guy in a washing machine and a Chinese guy
Shit
comes
was
out.
crazy. I saw that.
Very
commercial.
good advert.
Oh,
Fucking
way
two
oh,
thumbs
how
up.
clean it can get.
Ryan's really
Yeah.
leaning into the white supremacy thing today.
Oh,
really
I have
leaning
to
into
make
it.
up for the
Hey.
fact that I haven't been here for an hour. So
Ryan, it makes me feel better.
Oh.
I've been
It's
trying to be
been an
doubly
hour, right?
racist to make up for you being gone. So
He
good.
did try,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's not as effective. We need the tranny
Yeah.
demon.
I
That's what it
know.
is.
Tranny demon.
So ultimately, I
still
mean,
can't believe
who
I
has
caught
who
that
has
damn
played
voice
16?
thing.
Who has played 16? I know Cassie's played 16.
No.
Anybody
I
else
don't
play
want to
16?
buy a PS5 just to play a single game. So
I
Exactly.
can't afford a
It doesn't
PS5.
even run well.
Yeah, I just refuse.
My dad
I mean,
has my
first of all,
PS5, I
I
can't
just
play it.
started a new business. I can't afford a new console. But
I really
get
wish the
tired of
PC version
consoles
came out
doing
at the
this.
same time, but I understand why it didn't.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that
exactly, I'm
annoys
gonna buy
me.
it when it comes out for PC. So
Yeah,
that's basically my plan as well. I'll
but
buy
you know
it
what
for
annoys me
PC.
about some games? Okay, is the whole console exclusivity bullshit. I get it. Back in the early days, computers weren't as fast or as high tech as they are now. So companies could get the console peasants, reined in with a little bait of, oh, buy our console for like $500 and you'll be able to play like 200 games that are only exclusive on our platform.
Did you
Like
just
that.
say console peasant?
Yes.
That's me. I'm
What happened to
definitely
Kinect Boy's body? Did he get the
Oh,
cat
I
key?
put it over there.
Oh,
Nice, Will.
oh,
hey,
that's dope, Will.
That's
Hey,
cool,
look,
right?
I'll be honest with
It's
you,
out of focus,
I-
but it's
Hey.
Oh,
it's
wow.
the original model of Cloud. It's
Nice.
bro. That's actually pretty cool. But seriously,
Really
like
cool, right?
with console with like the console exclusivity stuff, they need to drop that already. I'm already getting tired of the exclusive deals because, and you know what, for development studios, it must be a bitch because say you put your exclusive game out for a specific console, and that game doesn't sell well either because of shit on your end or because people don't want to buy a brand new console for it, or they're just not into that console because it's their turn to get screwed because they're being shit. That's bad for their earnings, and then the publisher who idiotically thought it would be great to make it a console exclusive.
Well, so
Everyone loses
here's
money.
what gaming consoles need to do, like Microsoft and Sony specifically. They need to follow the Nintendo route because all they're doing is making lackluster PCs. That's the reason
handheld
Nintendo
route?
is still successful in the PC era is because Nintendo is innovative in their own way that is literally Nintendo branded. I own a Switch and a PC, and you know what? I arguably play my Switch more when it comes to gaming because I enjoy the concept, the game design philosophy behind Nintendo things. Microsoft and Sony don't have their own identity aside from games that will work better on PC.
But you know what they need to do already? Like they need to go back to drawing board with portable consoles. You know what I mean? Like you guys even remember the PSP? I know there were some games that were shit, but there were some that were also fun to play.
I own a PS Vita.
Yeah, it was
enjoyed
fun
the
at the
Vita.
time. Yeah, but the thing is,
I've
like,
got a
they
piece of
discontinued
something
it
like that.
because they were like, "Oh, this thing will never get off the ground." Handheld consoles are bullshit. No one's gonna want to spend money on it. And then the
Hello,
Steam
Game Boy.
Deck came out, and then the Switch came out, and they got to eat their own words. And now they're
Yeah.
paying hard for being dickheads.
I feel like they need the exclusivity to sell certain like the consoles. They feel like that's what's necessary in order to get the edge over each other. But the thing is, Xbox has been struggling to keep up with Sony for quite a while now. It's honestly really
Exclusivity
embarrassing.
is fine, but
They
make
just put
games
out
that
a
are
statement.
worthy of being exclusives, like what Nintendo does. I'm happy to buy a Mario or a Zelda game for a fucking Nintendo exclusive product. I can't say the same about these exclusives for Microsoft. Make something that if it's going to be exclusive, worthy of being on that console, not just a.
Why don't you want to buy the Game Pass machine, Words? Buy the Game Pass machine. They
Well,
even
the
got
thing
a black version to cater to these two great guys. It's got bigger. What's it called? memory space. So it's even bigger than the white version. So buy the Game Pass machine.
It's bigger than the white version, you say?
I just
Well,
I feel like
I just got finished talking about this on. I just got finished talking about it. The reason why Microsoft is struggling is because after the 360 era, they allocated their funds and attention somewhere else. They thought that because they were considered the shooter box at the time, they thought that gamers was going to be streaming Netflix and playing third-party games. And Sony didn't buy into that. Sony invested into their first-party studios, and Microsoft thought that they was going to be the third-party box where people was going to be watching TV and playing Call of Duty or Madden or whatever the case may be. So that period between 2013 and 2016, they were really in limbo on whether or not Microsoft even wanted to invest in the Xbox like that. It wasn't until they hired.
The Xbox One wasn't a console, folks. It was an entertainment system and a great one for content creators. You could use the Kinect to stream on Twitch and to make videos on YouTube through the Upload Studio. It was way ahead of its time in that regard. But
the only problem is that they pissed off absolutely all gamers with the ridiculous things that they came out saying about it.
You got to also think that was 2013. They was like one of the first social media firestorms. Like when we was just really getting into Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that in 2013. Yeah. So they wasn't anticipating so much pushback. And Sony was stringing along all these studios and all these plans for games, and these games take forever to make. I mean, we just got those announcements for all of the stuff that Microsoft was working on in 2018. It's only 2023. So all I'm saying is, man, they was behind the 8 ball so bad they didn't even know whether they wanted to invest in Xbox. So you're right, they need to catch up.
Well, to be fair, half the people at Microsoft spend their time doing 8 balls. So.
The Game Pass machine has saved Xbox. We're not going to have Xbox consoles anymore, folks. We're just going to have Game Pass machines.
It looks like that because there was just an article that came out like 2 days ago where they basically said that they admitted that where they said they'd lost the console wars.
This is really embarrassing.
Yeah, because they made 3 mistakes with the Xbox One and they've never been able to recover from. The first one was the always online DRM stuff. The second one was when they said if you don't like that, you can just buy an Xbox 360. And the third was allowing PlayStation to get literally years ahead of development of single-player cinematic games like Spider-Man, God of War, and that. And they've just never been able to catch up with it.
Dude, that was my thing. For years, I was Sorry.
No, go for it. Shoot.
I was for years I was an Xbox gamer and I had the 360 and I went to a 1 and I just stuck with that, and that was like my entertainment console for a long time. And then maybe like 3-4 years ago, I got a PS4, first PlayStation console I've had since the PS2. And within like a couple days, I was like, "Oh my god, this is such a better system in every way."
What have I been doing?
Yeah.
That happens
the thing is, they've really changed.
Over it.
Yeah,
they've changed, their way of thinking, because even Phil Spencer came out and said essentially that, well, we kind of lost a really important generation in terms of people, stacking up their digital libraries.
Exactly.
And so he said, well, the other way we can counter this, because they did lose in that sense, because the Xbox One was an important, library building generation digitally and all that. He said the best way to counter this essentially is to go the instantaneous access route with Game Pass and such. And
you lose the game. You lose the game, folks. You change the rules. That's exactly what Nintendo did after the flop that was the GameCube. Despite it being a great console, it barely made its money back and created the massively innovative Wii. And what Xbox has now done is Game Pass. It's their only savior.
Highest selling console of all time after the PS2, by the way.
Yeah, it's true. And then they screwed that up with the Wii U by not really understanding what it was that people liked again. And then,
what screwed up with the Wii U was the marketing. They marketed it fucking horribly because it looked like it was
people didn't even know if it was. Exactly. They thought it was just a super Wii or something like that.
The Wii U was the worst parts of the Wii and the DS put together. The Switch was the best parts of the Wii and the DS put together. So Nintendo does learn from its mistakes.
Well, and people talk about the Switch having outdated hardware. Which technically, the Switch, if you want to be technical, the Switch has outdated hardware. But you know what? The games I'm playing on the Switch are, to me, they're still holding up fine. I would rather play those than stuff on PS5, Xbox, or even PC half the time. I still go back and play Sonic Frontiers, Zelda Breath of the Wild, all these Mario games. So, if the hardware is outdated, but the games themselves are quality, I'm going to fuck with the hardware. I'm having fun with the games.
Well, I think
I'm sorry.
maybe
I'm sorry,
because
Words of
it's
Paradise.
because that the Switch
topic,
now is trying to go for open world, which I guess is what they want to do now with Nintendo, is try to get into like the open world series. That's why they're doing Pokemon that way. That's why they're doing a lot of like Zelda Breath of the Wild, Sonic Frontiers. They're doing a lot of open world stuff because they're now finding out that people don't want to see like the old video games, like where you're just, oh, this is World 1, World 2. No, they want an open world because that's what, many.
I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, Nintendo. I get what you're saying. And,
no, but there are people that love open world games.
Doing the open world stuff, like to me, I'm gonna be honest. Most open world games are trash. Like I get
now they are. Yeah.
Some of the there's that one's an exception, not the exception, not the rule. But most open world games, regardless of console or company, are trash. I will take a level by level game over something open world 9 times out of 10.
That's why I'm a big fan of layered open worlds, folks. You go into one open world and then you exit it into another open world. I think that's the one great thing that Dragon Age Inquisition did, despite the fact
Sonic Frontiers does, and it does it very well.
Yep.
I have not played that, but I've heard it's pretty
It's a good game.
good.
It's a good game.
For a Sonic game, it's very. If it's not a Sonic Frontiers, it's definitely a step in the right direction for a series that's been garbage for the last several years. If you can't tell, I'm a bit of a fanboy. Look at my background here. I'm a big Sonic fan, but I'll admit they've been garbage since like 2003. So it's nice to here we are in 2023 or 2024.
Didn't like Shadow the Hedgehog?
Shadow the Hedgehog was not a very good game for the GameCube.
Hey, we're gonna make a game about a black hedgehog. Let's give him a gun.
And make him say "damn" all the time. Because Shadow, even when Shadow got hurt, he was saying "damn it." Like, that was the most edgiest thing that you could say in a
game at 12 years old felt so fucking good. Like,
oh yeah,
amazing.
I love that
fucking
game.
Cool and edgy, and look at my gun. It's fucking unreal.
All right, guys, let me call out these super chats really quick. I got 2 super chats from Emily. Thank you so much for the 5 and the 2, and thank you TJAP as well for gifting 5 Hypnotic memberships. Man, I appreciate you, brother.
Chaos is a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Now let's jump in. We got to jump into the next topic, guys. I know you want to talk about Sonic, but we have to because we're already an hour in some odd past.
Let's do it.
Yeah, time is flying pretty fast. So let's talk about Star Wars because that's gonna create some heat. Star Wars is always that topic that creates some heat. So apparently, the Acolyte, right? That's their new show that's coming out that I don't personally give a fuck about, but I don't know if you guys who still watch Star Wars, Wyatt is gonna watch this or not. But but apparently
Star Wars is just so like patriarchal, and I just think like it's so nice to just do like a show for women. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
You do that way too good, but you are from
so
Cali,
accurate.
I live in Hollywood.
That
We're around
was
these people all
damn
the
close
time.
to Big Gay Al's Big Gay Boat Ride. That was pretty good.
Oh
But
my
here's why I'm
god,
bringing
so
up
accurate. Oh my
The
god, one more
Acolyte-
female representation.
The Acolyte. There was an article that came out from Rosario Dawson and a couple of other people on the Acolyte. They were talking about how it's very important. The show is very important because it features female diversity, and apparently that doesn't exist in Hollywood, according to these women. That it's
Especially
just
not Star
something.
Wars.
It's something that they don't really get to see. They say, right? So that's number one, and we'll talk about that. Number two, they talk about female representation, right? But apparently, one of the more prominent characters that they're using to push this female representation is a trans female. It is actually a biological male.
First disclaimer.
There we go.
And it brings the conversation to the point where it's like, what the fuck are women gonna do, man? Seriously, like you guys are just. You're just letting it happen, man.
Become men.
They're already
I know not a lot of women are. I know a lot of women who fight against this stuff. Don't get me wrong, but the vast majority are cool with this, man. It's like, why are you letting dudes? It's weird, right? Like, so these women who are super feminist, they're the first one to tell you, oh, I'll never let a man tell me what to do. Apparently you will if he wears a dress, though.
Yeah, right.
Like, you'll be perfectly fine with
know,
that.
That has been the most sickening thing when you talk about, like, you know, things like example with the whole, you know, Link is not trans thing. That
Don't even get me
you know,
started on
video
that
I
fucking
you know, the
abomination.
tweet of the video I did went viral. It got like stupid amount of, like, you know, way more attention than it needed. Come to find out, it was a biological male turned female that bought a bunch of likes, which made their tweet basically trying to one up me go viral, in which their reply was like, oh, get nice rate, look at that ratio, after they bought an F ton of likes, which that made my tweet go viral. You know how many biological men fucking mansplaining to me about, like, you know, trans and women and blah blah blah. Like, I don't give a fuck what you have to say when in regards to women and all this stuff. I am a fucking woman. I dress up like a boy. That's a part of being a tomboy. I still am a fucking woman. I accept the reality that I am a female. I don't want to be a male. I just simply like some guy things, and that's completely fine. I'm not going to sit here and allow you to tell me what the fuck a woman is, because you feel as though you're more fucking feminine than me.
Oh, no.
I do find that whole thing
You
really
bastard.
strange.
You're already
Because,
jumping
like,
at the opportunity like fucking hyenas.
Rage Cage,
it
also
just
known
drives
as
me
the
crazy.
tomboy T-girl.
Oh, it's mental. It's like, hey, women, you want equality, you want everything you possibly want, but you're not able to get it yourself. Sit down, love, put your knickers on and go make me a cup of tea. Let the men handle this.
There we go.
Putting on my skirt ready.
This is the person, I believe.
I mean,
Yeah.
most of these people are just sad
Oliver-
that I have more testosterone than they did even before they were taking
more
hormones.
testosterone
Damn,
than
that's
this
a
dick,
big
man.
ass
Garbage.
chin.
Yeah.
Damn, that's
he
a
can't
big
fight that. He
ass
can't
chin.
fight that biology.
All that
Damn.
chin and no balls.
He can't fight
God
that shit.
damn.
You can put all the
That
makeup and
shit.
contour, whatever the fuck you call that. I don't know what you girls use,
Why
but
is she? Why does this person look like they had this photo taken, but they were not aware until the last second, and they had just finished taking a steaming shit.
That chin
probably
is
was.
reality-based, folks. Look at that.
Bro,
It's a
that is
digitally enhanced chin.
bro. I feel
was made
bad
with
for
skin
anyone that
from his
gets
arm.
fooled and then pants are pulled down. They find a fucking motorboat.
have
Hell
to
no.
shave that 5 o'clock shadow there.
It's
And they're
for real.
fucking morons, Drag.
I don't think.
I know, or they're drunk.
Wait, wasn't George Lucas trying to get Lucasfilms back?
That's
No, I
a
think
rumor from
Disney wants to
Doomcock
sell
that
it
he's come
back.
out with like 5 times now.
It's a rumor, yeah.
It's
I'm
like
like,
some Mike
I don't
Zero
think. I
shit.
don't think
Start a
George Lucas wants
fundraiser.
it back.
We need some clicks. Oh shit! Tell everybody George Lucas is buying Star Wars back again. Okay,
Oh,
great.
yeah.
One
Those
masked,
views, baby.
one masked villain is now attacking another masked villain, folks.
It's not
Who'd
an
have
attack
thought
if
of
it's
it?
true though.
Yeah,
Just
Yeah, I
saying.
mean it
Yeah.
is true. Like, you could have just said, these are rumors, or this is a theory of mine, and then people would have still watched your video. What?
Was that a
Real quick, Sailor Mercury, you've absolutely redeemed yourself from the Final Fantasy comments earlier with that Bruce Campbell comment. That's now my favorite comment in this chat so far. Bruce Campbell will be proud of that chin. Fuck yeah, Ruby.
That's good.
Oh
yeah, or
man.
Jay Leno or something like that.
Yeah, no, Bruce Campbell would definitely be proud of that chin.
That's exactly my point, Sailor Mercury.
She's never gonna get fired because you
She's
guys
taking
remember
over.
that clip I showed you of
Got too much dirt on
of
everyone
Christopher
there.
Lee
Yeah.
giving the commentary about the concept of upward failure.
Mm.
These people like her know someone high up.
Yep.
They either know some dirty shit about the person high up, or they're best friends with them, or someone who works with them, and they get rewarded for failing because you know what? It helps with whatever.
Holy shit!
What's Atreus doing on the screen?
Right, parallel universe.
I was gonna say this
pretty
looks like a Shaka Zulu or something.
I
Face is
literally used
definitely fixed.
AI. I put Clive Rossfield if he was black, and that's what the AI came out with.
You know what's worth noting? The devs were constantly badgered with this question over and over and over again.
Stupid.
Like, Completely, because apparently it was just never good enough. Because at first they were just like, yeah, we're just going with this because of the stylistic choice. But like all these, journals, these game journals kept re-asking the same question just in hopes of getting something that they could run with to really just try and fucking ruin the potential, interest in the game. And that's what they kept doing, just badgering with the same fucking question.
They're still doing it now. Cassie.
Yeah, at some point, you should say that you just don't care. You've already answered this shit, and you're not going to go there again.
Well, they tried it with Hogwarts Legacy. That completely bombed. And now they're trying it with this game, and that's bombing too. I guarantee you this game is going to do ridiculous money, without a doubt. And not that it's a perfect game, because fuck no, it's not. But, it's just when you try to put all this energy into shit that no genuine gamer cares about this stuff, right? Nobody who sits down after a long day of work and turns on their PC, PS5, Xbox, whatever. Nobody who actually games like that and does it for a passion and enjoys it. Nobody sits down and says, "Wow, this game is really white." Nobody does that. The only people who do that are fake game journalists who are trying to get like clicks. It's the only thing, or they're hoping to get a job in politics, so they're using this as like a resume. That's all it is.
I agree with you entirely, but we also see that on the right wing side things. When the Dead Space remake came out, and you had a bunch of people, what? Unisex fucking bathroom was woke. And I'm like, okay, like you said, no one comes back after a hard day of work, sits down, plays the Dead Space remake, and gets upset about some fucking unisex bathrooms. So,
I don't think they play games either. I'm just being real. Like the people on the right or the left, if you're doing that shit, like first off, I would highly believe that there's unisex bathrooms in space. Okay, I don't think anybody's like worried about genderfying bathrooms in space necessarily, considering like what 4 of you on the space station or something like that. But still, like it's not something I think would be a thing. But regardless, even if it was or wasn't, like if you're thinking about that, that's kind of like, come on, bro. Like you're going a little far, I think, in my opinion.
I think if all the women on board are okay with unisex bathrooms, and all the men as well are okay with unisex bathrooms, then go for it. Right. But if women do feel concerned in the space, then that should be respected.
What the fuck is the unisex bathroom?
Which, by the way,
that shit from Ally McBeal.
Quick shout out, Will. I appreciate you changing Kotaku's colors to the BLM colors. That's a nice, that's a nice little thing right there.
Nah, it's missing green.
It's missing the fist.
You should have put the fist behind the K or like below it or something. That would have been.
It's supposed to be the Nazi.
It's missing the green.
I thought it was a swastika.
It is.
Oh, is it? I thought. Oh, okay. I thought it was the BLM colors, the black and white. My bad.
I should do that too, actually. Yeah.
You should.
But the fact you thought it was BLM is
that's why I thought you were cracking a joke.
Showing my racism. I'm sorry. I'm fucking racist. We're Hispanic. We're racist. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry. We Hispanics are.
We're white supremacists. The liberals told us, right? Right, Slayer?
Yeah.
We're white supremacists.
Yeah, you are European. You're Spanish.
Oh God, here we go with this again.
Here we go.
Get it. We get it. We got
Ryan
the
philosopher. Got to tell us the origins of racism. It's great.
Yes, thank you.
So
and our ancestors burned the fucking Jews and did an inquisition.
Definitely not black, that's for sure, without a doubt. Although a lot of people thought I was black for some reason, which is very weird. Very strange.
He was black because he had a black.
There's been a couple of phases on this
channel.
Fair,
in some of your old live action videos, I thought you were black just because you're a very dark Puerto Rican. At least your hands work. That's all it can really be seen. So.
Yeah. Well, he was in a dark on this room. Show if Hypno was black.
Wow, Ryan could not help himself.
That's reality based.
You're such a piece of shit sometimes.
I think he knows that.
Don't mince words. Say what you mean, love. Yeah.
Eventually, Ryan's gonna collect enough racism points. His tower is gonna fall just from
because you're American.
Oh,
September the 11th is far away.
You're just giving him ammunition.
I appreciate
Ryan
the
is like a fucking barbarian, man. You wound him, he comes after your ass. He doesn't give up.
Film Rebel has not criticized me, so I'm not bringing up any age jokes.
That is not true. I called you CW Gimli when I was on your podcast.
Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. Come on.
Fuck you.
You're welcome.
Let's talk about this. Stop roasting him. Jesus Christ.
Look,
nobody
he called me
says
a
I'm only
Klansman
half
Grand
black from
Wizard.
the waist down. Thank you to nobody. I don't know how you knew that, but I appreciate it.
Oh,
All
okay.
right, so it says the acolyte previously cast self-described this person's non-binary, so they're not even trans. They just happen to be I'm fucking confused. I
So
thought
they're
they were trans.
non-binary dress.
They probably are too.
What the hell is even that?
How do you trans to a non-binary? I don't understand this, man.
Just
This is
not a very
just
committal person.
I'm sure Bill Nye could explain it to us.
White Bear
I mean, I'll make
55
a.
says Hypnotic Black unsub. Fuck.
I told
damn
you,
it.
man. We don't mention our race here because then people will jump ship.
Should have kept it quiet, Slayer.
We need to
Fuck.
be white. We need to act as
Yeah,
white as
Oh,
possible.
white, you're Spanish.
That's why I
Doesn't
spend 2
matter.
hours
We need to
every
act
day
as
with
white.
my
I'm a
stream
white
every
dude.
time.
Still
What does it
white, my
matter?
man.
But
What?
so my question, here's my question real quick. So my question is, with this knowledge, bro, okay, now this makes it even funnier because now they're non-binary. I thought they were trans female, which is funny. But with this knowledge being said, what do you guys think about the fact that they're praising
About their eyebrow?
female, well, besides that, female
got a mega chin.
representation in the acolyte
Wait,
when
this-
one of their
they're-
more prominent characters is an actual male pretending to be a female? What do you think
You
about that?
can't make this
Mega
I'm
shit
gonna be
chin.
up.
100% honest with what I think about this. I don't give a fuck one way or the other. I'm more worried about lore stuff. Like I'm an EU slut. I love some expanded universe, love the
Well-
novels and whatnot. I don't give a fuck about the like.
Yeah.
Yes, this woke shit is awful. And we need to get rid of like, oh, non-binary isn't amazing. But I'm more worried about what lore are you fucking up this time.
Yeah,
Rosario,
Are any of you
Shut
actually
up,
gonna watch
like-
the upcoming Star Wars stuff? Like anything at all? Not just Ahsoka, but like anything at all?
No,
I'm
and
just
we're
gonna
gonna
watch
watch
it.
the hottest woman on the planet.
the thing with that.
Look,
I know why it's
agree,
going
I
to.
agree.
Well, no.
But
Right now, I'm reading the Thrawn trilogy for the first time, so
Oh,
I'm
you
probably gonna
see.
finish it by the time that Ahsoka comes out. So I'll probably be able to compare how fucking shit it's gonna be compared to those books. I'll watch
Those
the
are masterpieces.
Yeah, I'll watch the second and thankfully last season of Andor because I love the first season. But besides that, like, no, I don't give a fuck about the Acolyte. I want to like Ahsoka, but it looks like shit from everything I've seen.
What is
So-
with this constant need for actresses to pretend as if they're the first to do everything?
let me tell
Oh,
you
it's
something.
Yeah,
it's
fucking
really
insane.
sickening.
This
By the
annoys
way,
me.
just to make sure we're on the correct thing about that acolyte shit, the
Yeah.
dude who is playing a woman who calls himself Abigail, even though his name is Oliver, is a trans. It's the other actress, Amandla, something or other. That's the non-binary one.
Oh, so he is trans.
So
Okay.
it's two- so they're
That
talking
sounded
about
like a
two
Star Wars
people.
name.
You
So
know,
Amandla.
he's trans. She's
So they got a
non-binary.
tranny demon and a non-binary.
I
Yeah.
mean,
non-binary.
non-binary,
Another one
non-binary
checked
people,
box.
bro. Like they annoy me at this point because, like, it's like the word bisexual is banished and been replaced with non-binary.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, you like having sex with both types? Fine with me, but don't throw it
like
at me,
being
okay?
both
Like I don't give a
types.
shit. But
said,
stop
what do you mean
giving it a
both
new
types?
name. Like seriously, it's annoying. Like
Well,
they
if you
always
don't
have
give it a
something
new
weird.
name, how are you going to be special for a few years?
Oh, I
How
don't
can
know.
you-
Do
How can
something
you be a
worthwhile.
fence-sitting, non-committal pussy who can't commit to something in your life? Oh, I know. I'll be
Yeah.
non-binary. That way, I
Yeah,
can tick
bro,
every
look.
box at any time, and never ever be able to piss anybody off because I'm a fucking coward.
Hey,
But
my
being
God,
non-binary
non-binary
puts
is
you
the
into a
dumbest thing ever.
binary anyway, because then you're either non-binary or binary.
Well,
So
it puts
it's
you
like,
in the binary
Yeah.
being retarded.
In any
Yeah,
case,
exactly.
they're all fucked up demons. And they should be treated as such.
My question though is like, and I'm being 100% serious with this. Has someone ever been really hot to you and then they open their mouths and all of a sudden they're less attractive? Because I genuinely used to
Yes,
think Rosario
and then all of a
Dawson was
sudden
the
they're
most
trans.
gorgeous woman in
Oh,
Hollywood.
yeah.
And then when she
Mhm.
says shit
Especially.
like this, I physically find her repulsive. and I used to
Rosario
shit
It's
across
like it's
her
like
face.
your dick gets flaccid the second they say this dumb shit. I
There's
get it.
even a song
I
with
really get
beautiful
it.
women
And you
that
know
are
what?
right
Let me
to
put it
think
this way. You know, it's like, okay, look, I can be honest with you. Like my two, like the actresses that I consider to be really good looking, at least the top two for me. Again, I am like an early 2000s kid. Was Rosario Dawson and Catherine Zeta-Jones for
Oh yeah, she's a
still.
babe as well.
Even though she's old, she is still man.
Oh yeah.
But
And
like if you've seen Wednesday, you know exactly what I'm saying.
Mhm.
And you know what? Let me put it this way. Yeah, sometimes she says this crap, and it's like every day, it's like every actress that you hear say this crap, it's always someone that you thought were very attractive, very good, women like with their jobs as actresses, and then they just open those mouths of theirs and they just say the dumbest crap ever, and then you find out later that half of them
English type of guy.
What? I hope
Happens all the
Zazie
time.
Beetz hasn't said anything retarded because she is just good looking. Like,
Not with
Hey,
that dead
look.
too,
I
she
mean,
not.
you know, it goes to show that you can't depend on your
Sonny.
talent in Hollywood. Like, you're being forced to say some dumb fuck shit in order
Yeah.
to get noticed, not based upon your talent, your merit, your history, your catalog. No, it's all based on this fucking bullshit.
it's
a download.
ridiculous.
They're
Well,
not
that's what
formulating these
happened with
opinions
Brie
by
Larson. I'm
themselves.
almost certain because now she's out there talking about things in almost a base manner. I wonder how much of this, I've said it before, I wonder how much of it was she genuinely believed the dumb shit she said 4 or 5 years ago, or was it PR teams and whatnot telling her
A
to say
lot
it?
of it is PR teams.
Exactly.
A lot is
It's
PR.
the
Yeah,
data
they give them
download.
these
I
words.
did
It's always
write
PR
down.
teams.
I did write down, folks, that Dragon Slayer has a thing for cougars. So yeah.
I'm not ashamed that they still look good. I don't give a fuck.
Oh,
Man,
good.
Okay,
I think we all go
if you're-
through,
or is it
all
milk?
I am
young men
over
go
it.
through a
As long
milk
as they
phase.
are, as long as they are 18 through 40, I don't give a fuck.
That's ageist.
Damn.
On
You
the
hear all that, you
Okay.
42-year-old women? Dragon Slayer
Okay,
says,
fuck.
fuck
If
you.
they look as good as Rosario Dawson or freaking Catherine Zeta-Jones, hell yes.
You should love Madonna, Dragon Slayer.
Oh my god!
Oh
Go out
God!
with
Don't
Madonna.
even.
I don't even know how the hell that woman is able to sleep with a young dude. Like some of these young dudes, man, you know, all the power to you. I know you're chasing that money, but goddamn, sleeping with a mummy must be fucked up.
Damn.
Shout out
To
to
be
Panther
fair, though,
111
before
for
Betty
becoming
White
a
died, I'll
member.
be
Thank
honest,
you so much.
I would have
Yeah,
just
thank
to
you,
say
Panther.
I've been with Betty White. So
Thank you, Panther. I appreciate you, man.
Oh,
Thirsty
no,
bastard.
that is not the way to go.
Oh,
What are you
When
talking
the kid comes
about?
out, it's a good time.
Hell, he said Betty White. I can't do that. That is not the way to go.
who would not
Well, you
just to
guys
say
are-
you've done it? I'm just saying, like
you fucked up. You fucked up
There's no way.
Atreus's head. He's went into Mickey Mouse mode. Like that's a self-protection system right
That
there.
is not this motherfucker.
When
Every time
Atreus is
he-
dealing with trauma, Mickey Mouse comes out.
Yeah, he just switches on.
I'm just writing
Because
down
you-
the
no,
words.
he's so
Pussy.
You imagine those powdered
He
cheeks.
sounds like Mickey Mouse. who smoked a
And his
bunch of
voice
crack.
is cracking because he's sick or something, so it's even funnier.
No, he sounds
Don't
like Mickey
forget,
Mouse if he smoked too much crack.
Don't forget, it was only like 2 or 3 years ago, wasn't it? It was something about Rosario Dawson. She was in some kind of controversy because of some comments she made about trans people. And
Yeah.
the woke
Yeah.
people all fucking hated her. Well, she's clearly been, grabbed and programmed.
Reprogrammed.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe
they
that's why her
told her.
acting has
They
gotten so
grabbed her and
fucking
gave her a
robotic
woke
in Ahsoka.
lobotomy.
Yeah.
like you guys were saying earlier, I grew up liking Rosario Dawson. I think she's a good actress, and I like
She is.
Ahsoka as a character, but this is going to be terrible. Like, I have no hope for this show.
I really do think this show is gonna bomb.
Yeah.
I
I went off Rosario
I mean,
Dawson
most-
after
Just
I
the
saw
way,
Death
just the
Proof.
way she's talking like every other fucking show before her. Every other actor, actress, when they start
Yeah.
talking about, oh, this is such a glorifying moment for representation. It's weird how every show that
not.
comes out is the most glorifying moment for representation, as if
It's
like
such
the
a-
previous one didn't exist. You know what I mean?
It's an
just like,
important moment
why
for
not just,
representation. Make all these shitty shows that are terrible and get canceled and thrown away, and people laugh at
Exactly.
us.
Why doesn't somebody just make a show with literally every possible box that could ever be ticked ever? Why is it always got to be incremental? Like, oh, well, this
Call
show
the
did this,
show
but we're
like
gonna be...
call the show Boxes or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
They
that's
already
be
did. It was
hilarious.
called the
In fact,
Orville.
actually, that would be a really good name for
I'm
a
writing
parody.
Diversity University right now.
Change the name to Boxes.
We're just giving you ideas.
And
at
the
this
logo
point.
is like a box with a check mark in the middle.
Hey,
Yeah, literally,
Atreus,
that's it.
Atreus, you need to make sure one of your characters does like a weird, odd Mickey Mouse voice every time they hear some wild shit. You know that you need to include that in there.
Look at what she said. She said, I think that's actually one of the reasons why people have loved Ahsoka's and Sabine's and Hera's journey of all this time, because they had been so prominent as female representation in a space that we don't get to really see women be like that. To be such leaders, to be finicky, to be headstrong, to be stubborn, and to see how different they are and how well they come together as a chosen family.
But we've been
Yeah,
seeing
Definitely,
that
there's
since
no women in
It's gonna
space.
flop. It's definitely gonna flop.
Yeah, it's gonna
Jesus
flop.
fucking Christ.
But we've been seeing that since 2016. So what's the difference?
We've been seeing that
Seeing
since
it before then. Most
Katie Sackhoff got famous in Battlestar fucking
That's what I'm
Galactica.
saying. Most sci-fi shows I can think of ever have like diverse cast and strong female characters. Firefly,
because they never actually watched that stuff.
Aliens.
That's what I'm telling you.
Interracial kiss on network television.
Yeah.
These are people pretending to have watched or been part of this space when they haven't actually been part of the space or watched it.
Yep.
So now they're trying to pretend like they're the first ones to do these things when people have done it for fucking decades, well before they ever did.
That's what drove me nuts about Moses Ingram. She admitted she'd never seen the Star Wars movies until she'd gotten
Dude,
cast.
yes.
And then she comes
Like,
out
that-
like,
that
it's
was
about
so dumb.
time that finally a black movie
What does
comes
Moses
in.
Ingram and Andrew Tate have in common with one another? Like, holy shit.
Are they both white?
They both haven't seen Star Wars.
They both hate Star Wars. Hey, look, Rosario Dawson. Let's be honest here. I can see now why this bullshit is oozing out of her mouth sometimes. This woman was born in New York to obviously a Puerto Rican mother, but for some reason, Wikipedia has to make absolutely sure that we all know she has Taino, Cuban, and African ancestry. Okay, people, the Taino were like the original Caribbean indigenous people, and their biggest group was in Cuba. Okay, you could just say Cuban ancestry, but okay, whatever. And the African part, well, yeah, they brought the slaves over, so there's that mix. So
They have to
like,
make
at this point, who cares what your ancestry is? Look.
Well, they had to make the differentiation, Dragon, because all the black immigrants wiped out the natives. So that's why it's...
Well, no, it was actually the Spaniards who wiped them out. They literally enslaved the Tainos, and then they were like, they only barely survived through their ancestry, through their
rewrite
descendants.
History.
They survived
man,
through their...
base Spaniards.
Hey, look, you know what Spaniards did? They did the same thing. They almost did the same thing in the Philippines, okay? And that is they just would like almost wipe out the indigenous group, take the survivors as slaves, and then the ones that came out of that were mestizos, okay, which are basically the name for hybrids or half mixed people. Okay, so in all honesty, I really don't get why she says these things. At the end of the day, it could be PR, but it also could be that she finally subscribed to the BS.
She's probably given a script.
So
I mean,
I like Zach's comment here because he says our actors not prepared at all before these conventions, and it's funny.
They are
100%. As somebody that I go to anime and sci-fi conventions all the time. I've been doing this since I was 6 years old. I'm going to a fucking anime convention. Exactly 3 weeks from today, actually, and I'm so excited to like meet some of these like cool voice actors and just talk about all their work and whatnot. And because a lot of these guys are like older voice actors from like the 80s and 90s era before this shit fucking mattered. And like it's gonna be such a breath air compared to all the modern conventions that have these young up and coming sci-fi and anime stars and whatnot.
I mean, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. You know what I love about the voiceover actors? They do their job so well, and you never know their nationality. And you know what's crazy? Kratos is voice actors for both.
By a nigga.
Oh my god! Yeah.
I'm far too British.
Yeah, they're both
British.
Both of them were black, actually. In the 1 through 3,
They're trying to cancel this show.
He's one of the whitest characters in gaming history, literally.
Nigga, white is all our goddamn doors. You see the voice actor, you're like, oh.
I mean, look, it's the same. Hey, that's the truth. And you know what's even funny? When I played Diablo 4 and I realized that if you made a black necromancer, that man is a white man, obviously voice acting whoever makes a black character. They just hire them for that, dude.
Let me get my promotion from Hypnosis.
Imagine being a white guy and you're trying to voice a big buff black dude. You're in the fucking booth, yeah, fool. Like, what? Get the fuck out of here! You don't talk like that.
No, yeah, Christopher Judge is an amazing human being, Steve. You're right. He is quite wonderful, and it's obvious enough he had a lot of fun on the God of War production. But
Reyes, you have made Cassie very uncomfortable. You've made Red very uncomfortable. In fact, you've made me very uncomfortable because I have laughed at what you have said, which makes me look even worse now.
What?
Is it really the KKK member that's telling me I made other black people uncomfortable?
I mean, here's one that's interesting. Christopher Judge also voiced Magneto, a Jewish Holocaust survivor.
Yeah, he did.
And it's awesome.
Report it. I'm reporting. That's racist.
Bro, Red is quiet as a doorknob. Man.
I don't blame him.
Listening to it.
Don't blame him.
I personally don't watch Star Wars, so this has nothing to do with me.
I don't blame you either.
I don't blame you.
I have
honest.
only seen The Force Awakens, and all I can tell you is I was not. After that, I checked out.
Wait, do
You
you
were
mean you haven't
smart.
seen the
I
original
was-
trilogy?
Huh?
What?
Have you
Yeah,
seen the
I've
original?
watched
Okay.
The Empire Strikes Back, and New Hope, and I watched it in chronological order.
Okay.
But that's the only thing that
That's
I'm
fine.
gonna
Yeah.
do.
No,
I'm
you're
just
good.
like
That's
after
fine.
The Force Awakens, I'm like, yeah, I'm out.
Oh no!
Have you ever seen this? I found this a
Tell
few
you
weeks
about
ago.
Ahsoka Tano.
Wait, I want to see this.
Cracks you up.
Did I ever tell you about Ahsoka Tano? She was your father's exotic teenage alien apprentice, a fine piece of jailbait from a more civilized
the fuck?
age. She had the tightest body and the perkiest little breasts in the galaxy, barely legal in most systems. Anakin and I used to double team her at the end of
Fucking hell.
Oh my god.
Run a train over her, part of official Jedi training, of course. In time, she learned how to handle a meat saber better than anyone in the Jedi Temple. She wore a mini skirt every day, so we told her there were no panties in space.
Yo.
During acrobatics, you'd get a glimpse of her orange pussy mid-fight as she
Get the
flipped
fuck-
What the fuck? B2 super battle droid in half. It was surreal.
Wait.
We taught her to grip her weapon backwards like a dildo. Constantly get
Its face is
pirates
my
and
face right
sailors
now.
almost every other day.
I see you
It was
read.
ridiculous, like a constant porno loop. You have no idea.
You have no
That's it. That's it.
Actually,
I don't know where
how
somebody
did they
said that to
find
me a few
someone?
weeks ago, and I
Great.
fucking died. I
No,
couldn't
Hey,
stop
how did
laughing.
they find someone
taught her to
that
grip
was
her
able
weapon
to speak
backwards
close
like a
enough to
dildo.
Alec Guinness?
I was wondering if that was an AI of him or something, but
I
I
think it
don't
was
know.
AI,
Good.
but
It's only
like,
4 months old, so it really could be. I have no
Yeah.
idea, but it's so
you're
funny.
right.
That was so good.
Anakin, you
Bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think men really are trash after that.
Jailbait to the galaxy.
You walked into
I'm sorry, tiny metal trees.
Alien
that you had to
gangbang.
Witness that.
tiny metal tree. Hide your tree from Ahsoka. Apparently, she was quite wild back in the day.
And hide your wife.
right.
Atreus.
Quite.
Oh.
A clan member. I have to insult him now. Hide your wives and girlfriends from Atreus.
Wow.
They're gonna be well taken care of. Don't worry.
Oh my god!
What
With
was that
that being
game
said-
bundle? Was it you, Atreus, earlier on who said like there was a game pack that was specifically for black people? It was like
What?
Grand Theft Auto.
Oh yeah, he said
Was that
Madden
you or-
and what
No.
else?
No,
What's the
He,
name
he
of
just
it?
said it an hour ago.
Chance was like, "I'm racist, but not that racist." Come on.
He said it. He said it at the
Damn.
start. and I was gonna.
The Madden,
said-
Call of Duty, San Andreas, and
Yeah.
Oh,
basketball.
the
Well, GTA
Negro
5.
Casual Collection. Yeah.
That's it. I was trying to remember the name you came out. It cracked
The
me
casual
up.
collection.
The Negro Casual
The
Collection.
Negro
for fuck's
Casual
sake.
Collection consists of Madden, NBA 2K, anything Grand Theft Auto, and Call of Duty.
Yeah, that's
Basically,
it.
oh.
most
Simple but effective.
Oh, and Def Jam.
Oh,
Def
Def Jam was
Jam,
great.
that too, yeah.
Def Jam was great.
Def
On that
Jam
note-
Fight for New York.
Let's talk about this because I'm excited about this. I'm
Oh.
super excited. So Paramount Plus just canceled a bunch of shows, and what,
I can.
and
This is
I
a-
know,
this is a tax law.
Red wants to
About that.
jump. Red wants to jump in on this one, but they've canceled Grease: Rise of the Pink Ladies, which I only got 2 episodes in and I couldn't do it anymore.
Isn't that
Star
like
Trek.
the lesbian one where they're all gay? or
It's like the
something?
feminist one where they have like a non-binary chick and all this other
So it's
stuff.
like Grease,
I don't know why they have
Batgirl
that.
style, Batwoman
In the
style.
60s?
Basically, yes, in the
something like-
60s, yeah, and they used
Yeah.
and they used like
60s?
modern day terminology. Like one of their songs had the word clout in it, and I'm pretty sure clout never existed. And it just
And-
completely pulls you out of it, but that's besides the point.
It
Star
did,
Trek
but it
would have fit
only-
in really well in this show.
Star Trek Prodigy got canceled, and a bunch of other shows. So yeah, jump into it. What do you guys
Alright,
want?
so basically, if you guys are paying attention to any of the entertainment industry right now, the reason why most of these things are getting scrapped or canceled is because the writers are on strike, and it's been 52
Yeah.
days. So if you guys are paying attention to the WGA strike, basically what they're saying is that all these things that are getting canceled, or like with Seth MacFarlane just walked out of American Dad for a hiatus, I guess, until they come to an agreement. Paramount Plus has just lost most of its writers, mainly because of like the WGA strikes, and a lot of people are out of work because of that. But the writers were just like, hey, we're not going to do any of these things because you're not giving us any pay or anything else like that. And then most of these companies are just like, oh, okay, yeah, challenge accepted. So most of these shows that are being canceled are because of look, for the last couple of years, the writers, I although I understand it, okay, you need a salary, but all of your writing has been trash for like the last couple of years.
Yep.
So for me, it's just like, oh, okay, I can understand the demands in which you have, but again, also another thing would be like Chat GPT. They're trying to incorporate AI and all that stuff, which is going to be the beginning of the end for Hollywood. But I want people to also understand something too. Like, everyone's tired of the woke stuff. I'm with you right there. But don't be too surprised when you see Chat GPT make something even more bland and boring. You know what I'm saying?
I would write all of these shows for free, folks. I just volunteer, especially Star Trek Prodigy, because I am a great Voyager fan. I enjoy Star Trek Voyager tremendously. And I would honestly just write their shows for free. Nah, fuck the writers' strike. You fuckers have a union? You're Americans. You have trade unions?
WGA. Well,
we have those.
The main ones in Hollywood are IATSE, which is the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees, which I'm actually a part of.
Isn't it because of a tax thing that they're canceling all these shows? It's got something to do with you can write it off.
Well, that's one thing, but the main reason why is because of the writers. It's mainly because of the writers. Okay. So you have IATSE, which I'm a part of. So like those are like blue collar, get up 5 a.m. We do the shooting, the not you know what I'm talking about.
Nobody
I like that you had to make the disclaimer.
Nobody thought anything.
If you're working on
nobody thought you were gonna.
We do all the technical stuff. We do
that's the self-conscious thing.
The truckers, all them guys. That's my union.
They get
the other unions would be like the DGA, WGA, motion pictures, all that stuff. But the WGA is the one on strike, and that is the reason why you're seeing all these cancellations and all that stuff, because all these writers are just like, well, I want to get paid for this type of writing, which I'm fine with, I'm cool with, but then it's just like, well, then we have to come back to what are you writing? Like, what is this? You know what I'm saying?
I've been very conflicted on this whole.
Do you think at all, being somebody who's in the industry, do you think at all this is them? These are things that they've wanted to cancel before. They're just using this as an excuse to cancel it.
Well, yes and no, because the thing about it is that you gotta be well aware of where these corporations are. So many of these corporations, many of these studios are saying to the customers, like, well, this is what we're going to invest in. This is what most people want to invest in anyway, and many because a lot of people say it's an ESG score, and you might be right on that. But another thing would just be like, I guess more or less like we've ran out of ideas, and I think Hollywood has noticed that it's ran out of ideas. You'll have like 1 or 2 big things that are outside of Hollywood that do pretty well, and I would say like you would have to put yourself in like the position in which most of these people are in, and it's just like, well, what do we invest? Do we invest in anything else that we've been investing in, or do we invest in what we've already been doing? And Hollywood thus far has been investing in everything that it's been doing for the past 20, 30 years. So like when I say to people, like, you're going to have to go independent, because this, like what you're seeing right now, it's going to keep on going on. Like there's no other way to do this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, we get you. Oh God, sorry.
I think that it's actually doing us a favor, honestly, that these writers decided to strike. I do find it interesting that all of the shows that are being canceled are shows that we've notoriously known are like garbage. Like that's the ones, and they're not even just being canceled; they're being removed. That's what makes it even crazier. That's the interesting thing to me, is that it's not only being canceled but being removed completely from the platform, which is kind of like an extra kicking the balls. But I do find it interesting. Like I said, that it's all the woke shit basically that's being removed for the most part. And most of the shows that are being removed are the ones that are failures anyway. So it's kind of like them saying it without saying it. And again, I think one of the only thing, and then Atreus, you jump in. The only thing I agree with in this strike, because I don't want these fucking writers back. I think they're the most useless people. They've clearly haven't been doing a good job. But the only thing that I agree with them. The only thing that I agree with them in this strike with is that to release the streaming numbers, like release the viewership numbers, like make it a thing that is public knowledge. But we all know that's not going to happen. So anyway, Atreus, take it over.
So
totally
so one of the things that I think
industry.
one of the things that I think these writers and a lot of normies don't understand is it's not enough to just write a good show. Nigga, you got to sell merchandise too. That's a lot of things people don't think about. Like, if you're not selling merchandise, if people aren't going out and buying shirts and cups and stuff like that on your brand, like, you're not making enough on the streaming. You're not making enough at the box office. Like, okay, like even if you get a box office hit, you're making what, $200 million, $300 million on the high end for most typical movies or whatever the case may be. But John Wick is John Wick because he's in Fortnite and people buy shirts and hats and shit. You got to sell merchandise, bro. Like, it's no longer just about getting a lot of people to watch. Same.
But I have some about that. When you're done, I'm gonna say my opinion on that part. Oh well, what I was gonna say. Excuse me. So, my opinion on that, I understand that as a business, if you can capitalize on certain aspects of whatever project you're working on in order to make some extra profit, okay, either in merchandising mostly. That is fine. However, if that is the primary objective of every single project that you are working on, then you are creating your films with the wrong philosophy in mind.
Right. Yeah.
For the longest time. But the thing is, like, there's a lot of directors out there, like top tier directors, that have said many times, it's understandable why you want to get a merchandising opportunity out of whatever project that you can, but at the same time you also should be making films or shows for the sake of the art as well. You need to do what we call, I believe they're called legacy projects, I believe. Correct me on the term, because I'm not familiar with it.
You're right. However, but no, and I agree with you, but when you're thinking about it from like an industry standard, right? These are people these are suits, all right? The suits don't care. The suits, what they care more about is the algorithm that they are on, because Hollywood has its own algorithm different from YouTube. That's number one. Number two is the box office. Will it do well nationally, domestically, and then internationally? The reason why most movies are doing terrible in China is because of the writing. Like, we're not gonna. It's not because of the brand. It's because of the writing. Yeah. And then it's like, well, we listen. We love the brands, but we don't like the writing. Okay.
But where does the writing come from? Like, who is hiring? But then that goes into like this long. Like, if we're gonna go deep in like that, Red, we might as well be honest here. It's like a long. It's like a very rusty interconnected chain where the brand portion of the chain is nice and gold, but then the rest of it is just rusted iron, where literally you have the suits wanting to make money. However, the suits hire the wrong producers that only think about an agenda rather than doing their job properly and creating projects with that brand that will make the company not only money, but also give them positive notoriety. Then those people hire other people who then, with the same agenda or worse, and then they do the casting and the hiring of all these actors and writers that ruin great IPs. I mean, that's what happens.
I'm not going to say that you're not wrong on that. I do think, now I have my own kind of tinfoil hat theory.
Ooh, I want to hear it.
I want to know how this tinfoil hat fits on those breads.
I want to hear it now. Tell it.
Well, to your point, like how companies hire these people, but they know that these IPs have been well loved by a lot of people, but throughout the years you've been seeing a great decline in Hollywood. And I think the theory with my theory is is it, supposedly, deliberately destroying Hollywood and doing something else with it? Or is it just companies now doing exactly what they're doing, which is, like just diminishing the value of all IPs to the point where all you can go to is these streaming services? Because now I see now that most of these streaming services are taking over, every sort of platform online, Netflix, Hulu.
But they're not making money.
They're
So
not making money. They're not making money. Then that's true. The reason why they're not making money is because it's not public. It's not public to where where they're making money at. They're making some money, but the only reason why they're making money is because of the past stuff, that the past IPs that they could still make money off of, like reruns and all that. You don't have to go on.
Well, I mean, that's why it was a huge deal when Netflix lost The Office. I mean, when you had 4 streaming services, when you had Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, and there's like one other big one.
Man, I
there
remember
was
back when there was
definitely
just
potential
Netflix.
for money to be made, and
It was
people were
HBO,
okay
right?
with paying for
When the
those 4
streaming
services.
wars really opened up,
But
it
now
all
when you've
became a
got
bubble.
32 and a half streaming services, the ability to make money becomes increasingly more difficult without original content. They can't make original content for cheap anymore. No one's making original
I'd like
content
to
for cheap.
state, and I know this will be a shocking fact, especially to the Americans on the panel and the Americans watching, but these people don't give a damn about making money. They give a damn about proving a point. When you've got so much money, folks, making more of it doesn't matter to you anymore. It's about power. It's about
taking over the world. Does
I mean, you're correct when it comes to companies that have already made the money and can continue to amass it and make their point. But a lot of these companies, these upstarts, haven't made the money to be able to justify making a point. Like Disney can lose money. Disney can lose money and still make a point.
Netflix, multi-billion, multi-hundred.
No, Netflix has still not made money. Not made true profit. That is, and even so, Netflix, even if they had, they'd be the exception, not the rule. Paramount has not made that sort of money. Any of these new, I'm trying to think of other upstart, like Discovery Plus or whatever, hasn't made that sort of money. You can say, yeah, Netflix and Disney, sure, they made all the money. They can piss it away to put forth a message. Most of these companies do not have that level of money yet to be able to piss it away to keep forcing a message. So while you're saying it's true, it's not indicative of all these companies.
I disagree with Ryan anyway about, like, I think it's not about one entity and that's what their goal is to prove a point. I think there's just inner fighting amongst all these companies where there's different people with different agendas. I think it is not necessarily simple as there's older people. As people get older, they start hiring people out of these colleges and stuff like that. And they come in with these new philosophies and it starts infecting the entire company. And then you get people that try to push back against it. And then it's about who has the more leverage. Now, if BlackRock is giving you ESG money and there's a person and there's a CEO at your company saying, hey, maybe we need to cut back on this woke shit, then that CEO is going to get up out of there because I'm guessing that the ESG money is a little bit more important than what the fans bring. I suppose that's just a guess. I'm not saying that definitively,
but also when it comes to the actual like writing of these shows and how like the IPs are getting ruined because they end up being so terrible. One thing that's important to remember is that a lot of these people are as stupid as you think they are. I'm around them around them in the industry. A lot of them are just that empty fucking headed and just don't care about the actual franchise in general. They just want to have their name on Indiana Jones or whatever. They don't give a fuck about the story.
Is that why they starve you, Wyatt? Is that why you're so thin? Criticize them and they give you like a vegan diet.
That's how I blend in. That's how it's my shill cover.
If you are vegan, you become so white, you become translucent, and you can blend in with anything.
See this shit right? Look at this. This shit right here. I was looking this up while you guys were talking. This is the problem. This is very similar to like Parrot Analytics, right? So it's the bold-faced fucking lie, and this is why I actually do agree to release the viewership numbers, because you have websites like this that try to lie about TV shows and how popular they are and how many people are talking about it, because they go by engagement score, which has nothing to do with actual viewership. It has everything to do with what people are saying about it, what people are talking about it, and it gives this false idea that this show was popular. They're trying to show. I think they said this show was like number 19 most popular in TV at the time of release, which is bullshit. is absolute bullshit if you're looking from a viewership standpoint. But like I said,
said the
Parent
same
Analytics
thing.
does the same
Grease
thing.
show would be in that. Don't get me wrong, I'm a huge Grease fan, but believe it or not, yeah, everyone thinks I'm gay. It's because your boy loves musicals. There's no way that a Grease
I love
show
Grease.
is gonna
I put on a lot of
It's not
musicals,
exactly
bro.
a
So
Star
I don't
Wars
know.
or something.
Gay!
Next, you'll be telling me words that you went to drama school.
I played Kaneki in the musical for Grease.
Nice.
I put on
casting,
a lot of shows. I put on a lot of musicals back in the day. So you know, what I'm saying.
Hey,
My
look at
mom would play
the
Gene
link
Kelly
I sent on
musicals every
the
day
chat.
when I
I
was
see you,
young.
Reach.
But no. In hindsight, with all this, yeah, they have to release those numbers. But if you've been paying attention to like this, the beginning of the streaming services back in 2020, yeah, they were not putting out those numbers deliberately because they did not want you to know how many people were watching those during the pandemic, and then not only that, how much money they were getting. That's why you had Gina Carano and all them, start suing Disney because they were making, Disney Plus was making bank during the pandemic, right?
Big time.
And they did not want people to know how much money they were making, nor did they want to pay anybody back. They didn't even want to give anything back to the unions, in which they have to give it back. I mean, half the time, if the companies had their way, and this is just for me too, like as a technician, if the companies had their way, they would slave drive you, basically.
Absolutely, 100%.
Of course they would.
Absolutely.
Dragon
I have
Slayer
to give
sent
some
this
background on this.
Yeah,
So
go ahead.
basically, I saw this tweet just kind of sifting through my feed, and then basically it's titled, Christopher Lee. This guy uses the quote that you're going to hear from Christopher Lee to tell you why people like Kathleen Kennedy or those kind of producers are rarely fired, but instead get promoted. That's it. Go for it.
You see this all the time at the level of a top producer who, between them or separately, will make flop after flop after flop after flop. I'm not going to name them, but I know who they are.
We know.
And they're not all American either. And they still
You
get
heard that,
paid huge
Ryan?
sums of money.
Not all American, you fucking
Exactly.
racist bastard.
Britain isn't the rest of the world. No, I don't know what you're referring
They
to.
take enormous sums of money. And the films, again, are not films people want to see. They're always going to blame somebody else. Always. Not their fault. No, you were the one who said, or whatever. And there's a word for that. It's called upward failure. You see it all the time.
And they
Every Seagal movie.
I mean, this is Hollywood right now.
Yeah.
Especially, sorry to all the women out there. This is a lot of the women producers and writers and everything that are just self-inserting themselves into a lot of different TV shows and movies and making them completely bomb because they really don't care about the IP. They just want to take control of the IP. And this is what you get. You get failing upward. Kathleen Kennedy is the literal embodiment of failing upward, especially in the last 10 years now, 15 years.
That's why she's the Kennedy witch.
My dad is a complete normie. He loves Indiana
as
Jones.
much
He
as
loves
she
Star Wars, but he's a normie. You know what he told me the other day? He saw the trailer for the Indiana Jones. He went, "Oh my god! Do you imagine how much dick she sucked at to get to that level?" This isn't. My dad's not a hardcore nerd. The rest of us, he's just a fucking normie, and he's saying that shit. Like
Steven Spielberg, Harvey Weinstein
is my name. Like,
a lot of people are really starting to catch on, though, Leon.
Yeah,
I really do believe that. They're starting to catch things,
A lot more normies who are like on the fence or just don't even pay that much attention are really starting to come around now, I think.
Yeah.
I've heard a couple of like, what the fuck is this? For many different
well, you're even
TV
seeing
shows
it in
and
the
movies.
media. You even see it in the media now. Remember that article you read, Hypno, about the one lady who said, writing about Indiana Jones, nobody wants to see old Indiana Jones being bossed around by I couldn't believe that came from the media.
But there's a lot of I guess I call it like counterculture media. It's becoming more popular where you have different media websites that are actually trying to go against the grain, whether purposefully because they think it's going to get them clicks or genuinely because they do think like what's going on is ridiculous. But you are seeing a lot of like different bounding into comics pop up and Outkick and all these different all these different websites that are kind of going against what the mainstream is saying.
We know which way the wind's blowing, folks.
Even some that you wouldn't expect,
I
like
think
for
what
example,
Trey is
Variety.
saying-
Variety put out an article the other day talking about the Flash and how it's absolutely doomed, and there's nothing that can save it.
And that's what
I was shocked by
Trey
that. I
is
made a
saying,
video
that there's
about
even
it.
left-leaning websites out there that are going against the narrative now. Like it's gotten so bad. I mean, don't get me wrong, the counterculture websites like Outkick and whatnot are great, but when even Variety is saying, "Yo, this is when even fucking Taika Waititi, like I pointed out on my recent show,
yes, that's right,
is saying, "Hey, we've gone too far with this diversity stuff." That fucking says something.
He what?
When he says
not
that,
see it?
yeah.
Oh, hold on, let me see
I'll
if I can find.
No, he really said that. Like,
Yeah,
it's not. Yeah, we're not
Hypno,
fucking
you
around.
got it,
It's
or do you want me to
true.
find
That's
it?
a clone.
I'm finding
That's
it.
clearly a clone.
Okay.
Good one then.
Yeah, a
He
really good
himself
one
has
then.
benefited massively from being a diversity hire as well.
Yeah, I mean,
After,
look, I
after
won't
11
lie.
Thunder bombed so hard, someone made a clone of Taika Waititi to be smarter and took over.
Hey,
Thank you.
look,
Well, the thing is,
I would
Taika
agree that
Waititi is not an untalented dude. He's just an asshole. Like,
he
Yeah.
is an asshole. Like,
Yeah.
did you ever see that
He has a god
freaking
complex.
Arrogant shit.
like have you seen that 2020 podcast that they did, like Zoom call podcast they did with the cast of Lord of the Rings when they brought him on to do like the freaking questions part? Fucking ass in that one too.
But you know, but what's weird though is I specifically
does that one have the video of him saying it? Because if not, I can find the actual video.
I
It's
don't
like 30
know.
seconds.
Probably
Yeah, that video
not.
right there.
But you can't click; it's like still shot. So find the video,
Damn.
send it to me.
Yeah,
His
we'll
name
do it.
sounds like a country.
I'm almost positive that this man has said the complete opposite at some point. I just can't pinpoint it. Like he said, so this caption says that's not reality and it's not authentic. I never grew up with a group of friends where there was someone who represented every ethnic group in my group of friends. I don't know who the hell grew up like that. I'm almost positive he has said something totally opposite.
Yeah, for sure.
At some point in time. So like why switch? I genuinely think and what's her name? What's her name for the Fast and Furious, bro? Come on, the
Michelle Rodriguez.
Michelle Rodriguez.
yeah, when Michelle Rodriguez had her drunk
I found the
moment when
video,
she
by the
came
way.
out with the truth, send it to me in the link. When she had her drunk moment and she came out with the truth, I was like, you know what, dude? Every Hollywood actor and actress, I would bet money genuinely thinks like that.
Yeah,
they just
100%.
have to put this like facade
That's
in
what-
public because you know it's their PR teams. Like they can't do something like that.
Guys,
They are
There's
the
a
critical
large,
drinker
large
gets
amount.
now.
the
There's a
critical drinker
large
gets
amount of
millions of
them.
views. You don't think some of these actors and actresses are watching the critical drinker thinking like,
he's
damn,
talking to
I was
them.
thinking that
They
same
The
are.
shit.
director
They
of John Wick
contacted him.
said
And more
on
of
Joe
them come
Rogan
out.
he watches
Yeah.
Critical Drinker.
Yeah.
Oh, he
I don't
did.
doubt that at all.
Drinker's
Russell Crowe
become
talked to him.
almost bigger than YouTube.
I
He's been
would
on
guarantee there's people
TV
in
shows
Hollywood
and
that watch like even Nerdrotic. Like there's different.
Yeah.
They're all involved in that space, and you cannot convince me
Well-
that they don't see the backlash all the time. Like they know what fans are saying. They know what people are saying.
But not
Especially
only
when it
that,
comes to
how
the
many
people
how
that
many
cruise.
burner accounts you think they got?
Oh, a million.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my god. Think about I always think about that. I wonder how many of these anonymous accounts are secretly a celebrity behind closed doors who can't come out publicly and say it.
There are plenty of those. Yeah.
I mean,
I remember-
James Marsden has said that that's a thing. Whether he's being honest or not, who knows? Because, but I would imagine that's entirely true. That there are legitimate closeted, for lack of a better term, closeted Republican actors that do say this shit on burner accounts. Yeah.
Closeted
Yeah.
celebrities are welcome on reality based. You are all welcome. We are a
And
safe.
Hypno, I did spin that just so you know.
Yep, I'm pulling it up right now.
Okay.
And
Even
like
celebrities
just
can
like
kiss my
with rest in
ass.
peace to the Godfather, when Kevin
Oh, there we
Samuels
go.
was alive, he used to say things like there was a lot of celebrities that was in his DMs that couldn't come out and publicly say it because it would affect their business. So yeah, like you're right.
We've heard this from channels like Nerdrotic and like Geeks and Gamers and that, where they've had emails from insiders who are working in the studios and working in the system, and they're saying, "Thank Christ you guys are saying this stuff because we're all thinking it." And yeah, of course, because nobody really in their right mind would subscribe to this kind of mindset because it just fundamentally doesn't make any sense. It comes from above, of course. It comes from a company like Disney, whose investors are BlackRock and Vanguard, which have to toe the ESG DEI line because they're funded and supported by the World Economic Forum and Agenda 2030 and the Great Reset. So it's just one thing.
Cancel
Trickles
Will.
down and
Not me. Cancel Will.
Do you guys
We'll
remember
just
when
get every
Scarlett
box of,
Johansson
like-
spoke out against trans people? Like it was so Scarlett Johansson got signed on to do this movie where she was playing a male to female trans character. It was a biopic, it was a biography style movie, and she got roasted on Twitter because you're not a real trans person. Why you should be playing this? And she's like, I'm an actress. My job is to act.
Exactly.
Exactly. Her job is to
If everybody plays their race or their role or whatever the fuck, it's no longer acting.
That'd be fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's amazing how they managed to train that fucking
just-
hedgehog to run at 300 miles an hour for some.
Right?
Let's watch this video. Let's watch this video. It's a minute and 28 seconds long.
I think the word diversity is wrong. I think that the idea of diversification of the screen is not quite right because it's actually confusing everyone. And what's happening is we're mistaking that for we have to include a person from every single race and every single background and every single part of the human experience in every show or everything that we make. That's not reality, and it's not authentic. I never grew up with a group of friends where there was someone who represented every ethnic group in my group of friends. I don't know who the hell grew up like.
You hear how people are laughing when he says that? It's because they know it's true. You know
exactly.
What's
When did
confusing
Taika
is
Waititi
when we
start
feel
to
like
look
we
like
need
Giancarlo
to
Esposito?
see. Look, it's great to see your own face on screen, but please, not on my account. Don't put a Polynesian in your thing just because you feel you need to. It has to make sense. I don't want to see one token Polynesian character in your show. Okay,
but that's exactly what you get. That's
what we're
exactly what
getting.
you get in everything.
puts
There's
himself
one
in his
token everybody in whatever show. It's stupid.
Weird.
Yeah, and you know why we
you know,
have
and
what's called that white people shit? It's because black people, we get to go to the theaters and see white people do that white people shit. I don't want to be a part of that white people shit. I go to the movies to see y'all do that white people shit because I know we ain't gonna do it. We don't go in caves to look for that new answer to that question we're thinking. No, we fantasize about that shit.
Up in a city.
We don't chase down the murderer to try to stop him from killing anybody else because we can just run from the fucking murderer. That's why you don't see black people in Michael Myers movies because we just outrun the bastard. There's a reason why we like that white people.
That's
just like the Pounders. They're gonna run as fast
they
as
always have the
Kenyans.
black dude banging the white chick so that he's busy when he gets killed. Like, because you're right, he could outrun.
What do you think's behind the mask, Atreus? That's the token character. Michael Myers is black.
Oh,
Damn.
There's your representative.
in white
Oh
face?
man.
In white face. Yeah, that makes it even better.
I mean, that would be that would
Let's
be
finish this
so
video.
great. I
Let's
want a
finish this
Michael
video.
Myers film where he's black.
I do too. I want to race swap Michael Myers.
No, I did a. So when I was in college, I did a short film.
They did that already.
Oh, they
He
did?
said all that stuff. All I was thinking
Yes,
of was Scary
Halloween
Movie where it's
Resurrection.
Yeah,
Really?
I did a
run,
short
bitch,
film
run! Like,
where
big
Michael
scary
Myers was
movie.
struggling because he couldn't catch the black characters. This shit was fucking hilarious, bro.
Oh my god.
We drank their
Let's watch
power
this.
to
Come on,
us.
come on.
That'd
Let's
be
watch
great.
this. Let's finish it.
What I want to see is a fully Polynesian controlled Polynesian story that's written by and show run by. Okay, I don't want to see.
It's not a
When we
word,
make
dude.
our things, don't give us a
Not
white
a verb.
showrunner to tell us the rules and tell us how to do
That's
things.
what I was complaining
Let us
about.
figure
Rings
it
of
out
Power.
and let us figure out the structure of the story in our own way from our own experience. And by decolonizing the screen, what I mean is just don't make it so white.
So he goes on to say, I guess I must have linked you to the wrong one because he says in that same not interview but speech thing, he says Succession is a diverse show because it's all white people, and he hasn't seen that in so long. It's refreshing, and he goes on to talk about how all white shows are diverse.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. It's called culture. Who knew that white people could be
Of course, if
different
you go
based off
ahead
the
and make your
culture?
all Polynesian show and then see how much it sells.
But an
I was just about to say that same
show
shit.
would be row your boat because that's all they ever did was just make boats and rowed them from one Pacific island to another.
You're
Bro,
right, but damn.
Hypno, get your Klansmen, man. Get your
Right,
damn
yeah.
Klansmen.
Yo, what's wrong
Like,
about
like
the boat
Taurus,
rowing?
grab your pitchfork now.
Row
Hey, look.
your boat gently down.
Row, row, row.
Lynch the
Oh damn, my power went out. I don't know what's happening. I'm just disappearing.
Bro, Wyatt has
Put
fled to the
Cassie in the
upper
middle again.
echelons. Bro, why you put the black man in between two Klansmen?
put him in
Hypno,
the
what the
bottom.
hell, man?
I was having Ryan be surrounded in the corner.
And they're
that's
British Klansmen too. What the hell?
God.
I just like how there's a black dude on top of Ryan. I think that's pretty just.
Pause.
I'm not attacking red.
No, son.
I'm trying to make it.
And look,
Trying to
the
make the
woman is in
opposite
the
of
middle.
that
She is
meme.
safe from everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, you ain't see that meme. You ain't see that meme from a few months ago.
Motherfucker, we could be in the middle.
If you have 3 personalities, you'll be all right.
Yeah, true. True. I guess
Dragon
I would
Slayer's in the middle of a circle jerk.
You're just
Ain't
trying
lying.
really hard to
Motherfucker.
recreate the exact opposite
Hey,
of
the
the
circle
Piper
of
Perry
jerks.
meme.
Shout out Zax in the chat.
I mean, a circle jerk that's gonna be roasted with fire. Oh man.
Whole new meaning of
But in terms of what Tyke has said, I don't
Polynesians,
know,
rowboats,
man.
we get it.
don't know. Like this is what we've been saying for I don't even know how long now. It almost feels like the Matrix kind of a thing, like to see someone actually say it publicly like that. But I do think that one note in the video, the fact that people were laughing, it just goes to show that this is what everybody genuinely thinks, but they're being forced to say something totally
But you know
different
what?
in public, and it's kind of crazy.
The thing that is disgraceful about this is that what he's describing is prejudice, is racism.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's calling out prejudice
100%.
and racism, but you can't call it that in this day and age.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
there's no such thing as being racist to white people anymore.
No, apparently that's completely fine. All of a sudden,
They'll actually say this.
Me. I want to know what it feels like.
They would say this.
I
It
mean,
has
look,
happened.
if you want
To me.
to be honest, like racism has been around for the longest time. It's just real racism nowadays, at least in America. Okay, I don't know about Britain or in other parts of the world, but at least in America, racism is so damn subtle. Like you have to actually pay attention to what some people are saying to know, okay, they're fucking around with the stereotypes, or no, they're actually being serious. And it's
That's what I'm saying.
very
to be
rare
fair,
to
man,
find
when I
someone-
was you know, how much do you're a dragon. If someone calls you a spick, you'll just light them on fire. Like
I
mean, we
mean,
did get to a point like 10 years
Well,
ago where
yeah,
everybody
but-
was fair game and you could make jokes about everybody, and that
That's
was
what I was
really
saying,
when we
was that-
actually touched on an era of real,
Bro,
actual equality.
I remember in high
I
school.
started a race riot, so I don't know what you're talking about.
When I was
look,
growing up in school and everything,
Yeah.
knowing someone who was like actually genuinely racist was like spotting a unicorn. It was like super
really
rare
was.
to where when
Right.
it happened, you were like, "Whoa!"
Well, I was
Yeah.
gonna say
I remember
that it's very
on.
easy to spot the ones who are outwardly racist.
Yeah.
I think those are the ones that are so minuscule. But the
Yeah.
ones that are subtly racist, the ones who are like, well,
Most
no,
people.
we need to let the black people go first because they've had it hard in life.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Positive racism is still
the
racism.
pretend to be on your side racist is what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
Oh
The
my
ones-
God,
Or-
yes.
I'm
Like a
going
male
off outdated
feminist.
statistics here, but about 3 years ago, the FBI released the statistics of how many known KKK members there were, and it was 11,000. Now that number sounds big until you remember there's 350 million fucking people in America.
I was just about to
11,000
say
is a
there's
percent of a
240 million
percent.
white people. If there's only 11,000 Klansmen, like, let them have their thing, let them have their little club. That's all they hanging on to.
Yeah. They'll live on like
Let
one
them have their
floor.
party.
Concert y'all have, I'll be there. I just want to see what
Hey,
y'all
they
celebrate.
will look. I remember one time there were these two black YouTubers, commentary YouTubers, that actually went.
Said the
Wait,
word
what?
black
Talk
so
to
strong.
There are
Klansmen.
two black
No,
YouTubers?
seriously, I
Jadion.
saw it.
You're talking
they
about
went-
Jadion.
Yeah, they went
You're
to
like, there
talk
was
to
two
actual
black-
Klansmen, like an
Yeah.
actual
Yeah.
Grand Wizard or something. And the man
And the Grand
was
Wizard
so
was
angry.
confused as shit. Like, boy, do you know where you at, boy?
Yeah, he was
I got,
like, "Why
I
are
got
they
a
coming
noose
to
right
me?
here in my
Yeah.
trunk, boy. Do you know where you at?
What the hell? They're coming over. Why are they coming over here? I
But,
didn't
like-
put out a lure. I didn't put out any weed or crack.
I'm
from
gonna
your
tell you a
back."
story. I'm gonna tell you a story.
I'm sorry.
I
Oh, they
love,
going over
I
you.
love outward racists because outward racist people are funny as hell, bro. So I used
Yeah,
to work for Pike. I used to work for Pike Engineering, where I had to audit
Brian.
these Georgia Power poles, and there was a Georgia Power pole in this guy's backyard, and not really his backyard. It was in a yard. It was like a long driveway. I went, I audited the pole, and I'm trying to pull out of the driveway, and all I see is this old white van pull up in front of me, and this like old white Santa Claus looking motherfucker jump out the car with a cane and shit. So he runs up. Now, mind you, I'm on the phone with my mentor. I'm like, hold on. I'll put him on speakerphone so he can hear what's going on, just in case he need to call the police or whatever the case may be. So he comes out. He's asking me what I'm doing here, and I'm being calm. You got to know how to talk to people. I feel like a lot of people, especially black folks, don't know how to talk to people. So I'm talking to him calm. I told him what I'm doing. He was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I had an Amazon guy came down here. He was pissing me off, and it's funny because he said the most racist shit, but it was funny as hell. He was like, "Yeah, he called me a little Santa Claus looking motherfucker," and I ain't gonna lie, I called him a couple of words too. I said, he said he called him a creamy something. I said, you called him a creamy nigga, didn't you? He was like, he just shook his head. I started laughing, and from this point. Every time I see a light-skinned black dude, I be like, bro, you creamy nigga looking motherfucker. Racist white people are some of the funniest people on earth, bro.
Nah, bro. I one time had, I remember, in high school, they would just, some of the people that I was really good friends with, they would fuck around to see if I would even react to the wildest shit they would say. And since I was the only guy that spoke Spanish in that high school, it was like a private school. Everyone else was literally, this is Southern Mississippi, by the way. Okay. Oh. And here's the thing. This one guy, he goes like, oh, so you speak Mexican, right? And I'm like, well, I mean, if as far as I know, Mexican? I mean, everyone speaks Spanish.
He probably
if you got turned to Mexican, you might want to tell me because I didn't know none of that shit.
He probably He's probably being serious.
But like I said, you have those people that are just they're out there, they're forward with it, and I think they're the really minuscule they're a minority.
Oh, yeah.
But the ones that are
racist
subtle
to the point where they just hate somebody, I think they're just ignorant. A lot of them are just ignorant.
That's what I've been arguing, is that a lot of them think that,
or they're just purists.
They think they're a good person, that they are genuinely coming from a good place, but they're just fucking so ignorant they don't realize they're just spreading more racism.
Right. Yeah. I think a lot of people who are like that, they are genuinely just purists too. Like they don't like fucking around with outside the race. I don't think they necessarily hate the other race. They don't want to intermingle. You know what I mean?
They don't want to fuck around and find out, especially with all those Twitter videos of attacks going on.
I mean, you know what the true shame of it is? It's like, I'm sure that there are a lot of people that would love to experience different cultures, put themselves out there and be around different people that they aren't usually used to being around. But everything is so bad. In terms of you just say this one little thing, it can be misconstrued in all sorts of different ways, to the point where people are going to be unwilling to even put themselves out there and being around different sorts of people, because it could possibly put them in a fucked up light, even over the most minute thing. So this whole constantly harping on race and racism all the fucking time, it is inevitably going to mean less mingling amongst different races.
Quick shout out to that girl Case who dropped a 5. Says, "What's up, y'all? I tried to write what up my ends, but YouTube made me take it out. So corny. What's up, chat? Hit that like button. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna let you drop the N word.
You dipshits. Why can't you let
up?
That's why we have a Trey's let up the N word.
Trey's is here to drop it. That's why.
It's just a word, folks.
Don't you do it, Ryan?
Yeah, just like the dish that you mentioned yesterday, Ryan. I mean, last Saturday.
Food. It is a food. Back me up, Will. Maggot is a food in the United Kingdom.
Oh my God!
There is actually a food
man,
called a faggot in the UK.
Things are so insane now. I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to say that word that got around from that Final Fantasy article. That kind of
niggle.
Get away with it, okay? I ain't taking no chances.
Hey, that's the thing. I said it
that was the thing on Twitter at first. I didn't realize that was from Final Fantasy.
You don't use the N word?
What is the word?
You don't use the white people.
She used the N word, bro. She used it. She for sure. Look at that
I'm a New Yorker that's half Puerto Rican. That also a lot of most of my Puerto Rican cousins are actually part black as well.
Earlier, she said she knows a lot of black dudes. Puerto Ricans. She used it.
If you said the N word, I highly doubt that. Hey, you should pull up. You know who John Zerka is?
Nope.
Does anybody know here?
No.
John Zerka is the only white dude I've seen like in the last like couple of years to get away with saying it. Like no problem. Like this dude was on a podcast and said, "I'm that nigga," and every motherfuckers was laughing. I was like, "Oh wow, man, that's a tough son of a bitch."
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
actually,
I didn't know the other word came from Final Fantasy though. I didn't know that was.
No,
a thing.
yeah, it came from
No, it
Final
came from an
Fantasy on
article.
Twitter because they messed up on some.
Oh,
on
that's
something.
right. It came from an article. In Final,
Yeah.
That's right. I remember that. Fucking idiots.
I mean,
bro.
look. At least nobody is out here saying, you know, faux shizzle my niggle. Like that would be fucked
Oh
up.
my fucking!
I wonder what
God.
happens when you
Oh,
when
Yeah,
you
no,
Google
Jesus.
that word.
Actually, I used to have
Yeah.
a previous
Probably get black
business here,
Moogles.
had like an
Black
outsourcing
Moogles.
company, and I had two members of my management team. One was from like Sri Lanka, the other was from literally Nigeria, and the two of them dropped the bomb every other word it got. Like, and I'm British, right? So I was raised in a way that was kind of like, out of respect, never say the fucking word. So I'm sitting there as two of my employees are just bombing each other right next to my desk all day long. And I just had to leave the room sometimes because I start pissing myself laughing like a little boy, like in school, who's just heard the teacher swear under her breath or something. I'm like, I got to get the fuck out.
Here's the rule.
Apparently, this word is a real word.
It's a real word. Yeah,
it's
an
a real
actual
word.
dictionary word.
Oh my
Yeah,
I had no, and it has to do with annoyance and
It's an annoyance. It's irritation.
annoyance,
Yeah.
discomfort, or anxiety. A suspicion
reality,
niggles at
I'm
the back of her
saying-
mind. Wow.
And
That's-
niggle
Yeah.
issue.
That's
Here's
actually
my rule
my
about
I love that
discomfort.
quote at the
That's all it
bottom.
means.
Here's,
I love
Yeah,
that
That's what I
saying.
mean with
annoying
niggle.
or
You know.
bothersome. Yeah.
Well, here's my thing about the word. The reason why I wouldn't allow my quote unquote white friends to say it is not because it offends me. It's because of the amount of danger you could put us both in
Yeah,
if
for
you
real.
said it in the wrong situation. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah,
Like
you don't want to say that in the
fuck
hood.
around.
I'm
No,
glad
you
you
don't
don't
wanna
say
say
it in the hood.
it's cool. I know that if you say it, you're not saying it because you secretly.
Yeah.
Nah. Yeah, of course.
However, if you come to the fucking cookout and you say
And
it,
you,
I have
you're-
aunties that will hang us both dry.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's always been my thought. too.
Very thin-skinned of them.
I mean, there are people, particularly of the older generation, that are black that don't like to use the term. They
Yeah.
At all,
do
not
it.
from anybody.
I mean,
Yeah.
it carries,
And I respect
it
that.
carries
I
some
respect
serious
that.
weight. You know,
Yeah.
It's not just about like. There are some things I still think that as much as I'm an advocate for free speech on my channel and everything like that, some things you just shouldn't say because it just has still got an attachment to the origin of the word, and it probably always will have. So, out of just general respect, I avoid it like
Well,
the
no,
fucking plague.
you're
My
exactly
thought on it
correct,
is
Will. Like
that-
you can have free speech and still be, like emotionally intelligent enough not to use certain language. The point is that when it comes to free speech, all that means is law should not mandate what words can and can't be said.
Oh, I
But, like,
completely
right,
agree with
yeah,
that.
like-
No,
and-
there should
and
be no
people-
organized
I
rules
know you get that,
whatsoever.
but some people can't grasp that concept. They're like, "What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be allowed
Yeah.
to say XYZ," or
Yeah,
"I
yeah.
should be allowed to say whatever because of free speech." Well, you're allowed to.
I
but
should
that
be
doesn't mean there's
allowed
not
to
gonna be
say absolutely
consequences. Like,
anything that
it means
I
there's
want.
no legal consequences. That doesn't mean you're not going to get fucked up for saying dumb
Yeah,
shit.
that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Like,
That's what I'm
growing
saying.
up-
I should be allowed to choose whatever words I want to use and deal with the fucking consequences that I
Yep.
bring down on myself.
Yeah,
I
like growing
think-
up, I had a lot of white friends who, when drunk or like partying, they would say the N word because they thought it was funny or whatever. And I was
Yeah.
like, when we're partying, like whatever, I know you're joking, but if we're just out in public and you're just saying
Yeah.
it and someone hears it, I don't know you.
Well, I will say,
It's another one of those.
self-preservation
What a
thing.
shit.
Yeah.
I'm the
It's
only
tricky.
person here
It's
that
re-
can
it's
get
really
arrested
tricky.
for speaking my mind. I'm not sure about the Philippines. I mean, you are
Oh,
ruled.
they say it all the time here. It's so weird.
It's tricky because we no
But they say
longer
it with
live
an
in that
accent, so-
segregated. We no longer live in that segregated society. You got a lot of white
Yeah.
kids growing up, and their favorite people are black as hell, and so they
Exactly.
hear their
Sure.
favorite people say it. And like, trust me, I've come in on certain lobbies in video games, and you hear two little 11-year-old white niggas
Oh, yeah.
calling each other the N-word like every 5
I
minutes.
believe
Yeah.
And it's like I'm
Yeah.
sitting here quiet, and I'm listening to these little 12-year-old boys. Yeah, my nigga. Yeah, this. I'm like, bro, y'all motherfuckers- like,
He ain't
No, I
lying.
think the
Yeah.
term,
No, you're totally
the correct,
right.
Smith
the
is my
correct.
favorite actor until his movie started to suck after I Am Legend. So I mean, like people of our generation have grown up in a mostly racist-free society. Like, yes, obviously, always
Yes.
gonna be there, whatever. But let's be real. It's been a mostly racist-free society, at least
Yeah.
in America, our entire fucking
Yeah.
lives.
Yeah, it has.
I mean, we
It's-
learned a lot
so-
about the hood thanks to
Oh,
those
and by the way,
movies,
I think
so
the
that's-
term you're looking for was wigger. That's the one we used to use.
Oh, what a
For
trace.
white-
Yeah.
For white
Definitely used
kids
that
who
one
walk
several
around
times.
acting like they're gangster rappers or whatever, we used to call them wiggers.
That's
That was as
All
far
right,
as we ever went.
let's switch off the racism thing. Let's talk about the last story of the
Aw,
night.
damn.
Yeah, I
Not
know.
the racism.
It was getting
I
so
know.
good.
Don't worry,
I
I'm
know.
sure we'll find a way to make this submersible
Bro,
racist
at
as
least it's
well.
not
Right.
It's
religion.
always
Kicked
next
off.
week.
Yeah,
At
you
least
ain't,
it's
you ain't
not
lying.
religion.
I don't mind the
Bro.
racism talk, but we got to get to the next topic before the stream
Hey,
fucking
look,
ends. So,
With
like,
religion, we avoided like the plague. You know why? Because we don't want the chat to get spammed
yeah.
with like fucking Bible verses and Quran verses all
Oh
at
my
once.
God,
You
bro.
don't
Seriously.
want,
That'd
you
be
don't
fun. We
want the
should do
chat to
that.
turn
Hell
into
no.
a Bounding into Comics article.
No.
bro, when I read some of their
He wrote an
articles,
article
I'm
about
telling
the
you, bro.
stream.
Cassie knows all about that.
When I read
It's
some of their
not a good-
articles and I get to the point, like I'll be filming and I get to the point where this is what John Pope says, and I'm like, oh fuck, we need to skip this part.
Oh,
And then
yeah,
I
that
keep
pissed me
scrolling
off,
down, I
dude.
keep scrolling, and I'm like, this is the rest of the fucking article. What do I do
Yeah,
now?
yeah, yeah.
And I just
Bro,
start
look,
making shit up.
Turn the camera
Bro,
off and
it's-
start again. Yeah.
It's
like they're
terrible.
fucking-
It's fucking
Bro,
terrible. I'm like, bro,
annoys
you
me. That's
gotta.
one of the.
There's
one of the
nothing
things that-
wrong with being religious, but like, bro, you can't preach to your fucking readers, man. You're not
Didn't
you're
someone
not
on the
a you're
panel
not a
call them out?
holy website. You're a fucking comic book website.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
don't.
It's
Anyway.
no different than preaching woke shit. As a
Seriously.
stealth
Yeah,
thing.
Yep.
Yeah, it's no
I don't want to
different.
be preached to.
One of
from
my
the
comments is just-
ideology.
This is why I
One
get
of my
sick of the
commenters
Daily
just
Wire,
told me
too.
he identifies with black because his slave owner ancestor slept with one of his slaves. That shit just threw me. What the fuck is
Jesus
going
Christ.
Bro, your cat is wild when they get the chance, bro. The second you don't look at the screen, they go
Support
wild.
Kick, everybody. That is an ad for supporting Kick right there.
There you
Yeah,
go.
seriously. On that
All
note,
racists are welcome on Kick. Please
let's talk about this
follow
because
Atreus.
this is a major story. It's a major story. Major
Gonna
story.
become the home
It's
of
it's
racism.
gotta
They're gonna
it's
rename
gotta
it
do with
Spit.
cover up, which is huge. It's huge for
Oh,
me.
really?
So apparently, you guys know the story about the submarine. Obviously, it took over the entire fucking.
submarine.
It took exactly. It took over the entire. It took over the entire internet for like what 4 or 5 days. Apparently, that was all just for
Out of
absolutely
nowhere.
nothing because the Navy already knew that the fucking submarine imploded about 8 hours after it went missing, and they kept it purposefully quiet. Purposefully, they kept it quiet and never mentioned anything, while the rest of the internet and the world were going crazy trying to look for this thing, and they knew it had already imploded.
They weren't able
Casey's
to.
not here, man. She would have been all over this one.
They weren't able to distract the entire population of the world away from the Hunter Biden stuff with the rumored alien ship that they were admitting it really exists. or
Really? They're
something.
finally opening
So
up to
they
that shit?
They needed something. Well, they claimed like a couple weeks ago or something.
But they're
that
opening up
the
more.
aliens
That is
are real,
so
and we
good for
actually
them.
recovered a vehicle or something, and nobody was paying any attention to
Old
it because it was
news,
so
man.
transparently just trying to steer the
You'd say that
conversation
I was
away from
glued to fucking
Hunter
YouTube when all
Biden.
that
me
UFO
too.
shit was coming out. Like
Yeah.
I was YouTubing, I was Googling, I was going deep. I was
Is
like,
you
I
have-
knew watching
Leon,
Joe Rogan for
yeah.
the last
Leon,
10 years be worth it.
Whenever
I'm
a
onto
story
the
like
Yoda
that
too,
comes
I'm not
out,
gonna
my
lie.
immediate instinct, every single
Yeah.
time something like that happens, my instinct is to just look in the exact opposite direction of any other news story just to see what they're trying to avoid actually having to say.
I mean, I
mean,
know why
aliens
they're
walking down the street
doing.
killing people, and they're going to be like, "Nope, something's going on over there."
Yeah, but the thing
Because
is, like, with
whatever's
the-
going on is way worse than, oh, we actually do have aliens on the planet or whatever. Oh,
well, no,
really?
they're gonna
Oh,
keep
here-
it quiet.
What,
But
here's
what
the thing
law
about
are you
this
quietly
story.
passing without telling anybody? Or what
This
bill
is
are
a
you-
very important part about this story. So they did inform the person who was in charge of the search. They did inform the person who was in charge, but the decision was made to continue the search anyway. But the news cycle was essentially running with it so long as the search was continuing, and they weren't obviously informed of what happened. Now they were. I know a big thing in the news cycle was about the acoustic sound that was coming from the
Yeah, I
apparent
figured that
submarine.
was
They were
true.
like knocking or
believe
some
that.
shit like that, right?
They've
Yeah.
got the technology to use some kind of auditory sonar thing so that they can detect enemy submarines. And
Yeah.
it picked up the bang sound of the submarine imploding, and it was just hours after they lost contact with them. So they were 100% certain of what happened to these guys. They were dead the entire time.
Yeah,
and
they were dead
The news cycle
immediately.
continued to go on and on and on as if we were holding out hope that they might somehow make it. And of course, that works because no matter what side you're on of any debate or anything, you're still a human being, and the idea of a bunch of people suffering and struggling for a long period of time, like the Chilean miners and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
Back in 2010 or whenever that was, everybody's heart goes out to these people, but the reality is we were just all being lied to.
Oh, no, the Chilean miners, it was okay to feel sorry for them because they were poor.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah, this whole.
but now,
like,
there's another
the
angle on this
billionaires, like
too.
that's so fucked up.
Yeah,
I mean, like with the
of that.
billionaires, I'll be honest with you. Okay, personally, with the billionaires, yeah, I'm quite sure a good portion of them were pricks, but at least I can say confidently that even if you're the worst piece of shit in the world, I would not wish for you to die in that kind of manner. Like, literally imagine you're at the bottom of the fucking sea, a faulty submarine implodes,
Terrifying,
you die instantly, and then everyone that cares about you, okay, because even pricks have people that care about them, does not know jack squat. And then people that find out about what happened to you do not want to reveal what happened to you because it would make someone that they are under their payroll look bad. But then some other unrelated situation occurs that could become a bombshell news article or news story, and then all of a sudden now you're important because they need to cover up this other story. This is just a classic line, and to be honest with you, that they always do this. And
but here's my question. I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
So who's more at fault here? So you have the Navy and the Coast Guard who informed the people who were doing the search about the implosion, right? And they chose to continue the search. Apparently, they were also telling the media and reporters that they were continuing the search, but they did not mention that there was a likely implosion for the first couple of days. So is it the fault of
Well, that's what I was thinking this the whole time, is that whichever expert or official that they first told that they heard the explosion, I'm just picturing him in like this Black Mirror ending where he's like purposefully just not telling anyone else because he wants them to die.
So is it the fault of the person not telling the media about it? Like, can you really blame the media for grifting on the story if they weren't actually told about the implosion until the very end?
Okay, yeah, no, that's fair.
You get what I'm saying? I consider it to be the fault of the person who knew the info and decided to not actually pass it on for whatever reason. If you want to bring up the idea of, they're trying to hide,
Dr. Evil laugh the whole time.
They're trying to hide or keep the story going for whatever, that's something different. But
yeah, exactly.
Well, one thing I wanted to say about all this with everyone celebrating the billionaires who died under the sea because they deserved it. One of them was a 19-year-old kid who didn't even want to go.
Yeah, that's the most fucked up part of it all, in my opinion. That he wanted to do it for his dad for Father's Day, but he didn't want to go, which is crazy.
Yeah, and then they.
Well, I mean, the thing is, what nobody's saying is like really the only reason people were celebrating is because the billionaire happened to be white. Because if it would have been Kanye West or some shit like that, it would be sad.
Yeah, if it would have been Beyonce,
unfortunately, pretty bad example with Kanye West. I mean, people fucking hate him now, but yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah,
I don't think as many people hate him as you think it is. I think Kanye West. Is
you're right. Trace is right.
Yeah, like Kanye West.
That's good to know because I really started to like him after he started telling the truth, and then he went just a little too far.
All the Jews would celebrate.
I think, and here's the thing: I think even Jewish people, like obviously, there's going to be some people that won't forgive him because I mean, like I love Kanye. Kanye's a little ignorant. I mean, he's ignorant. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you saw that video after he got in trouble. There was a video after he had got in trouble. He was like, if something happened with me with a doctor, we're not gonna say what kind of doctor it is because we're not supposed to say that. It was a Jewish doctor. He's a little ignorant. But
it's
I think
ignorant. That's how you pronounce it. Ignorant.
Oh my god.
Nah, man, it's called ignorant. Okay, ignorant, motherfucker.
Man, you're being ignorant.
Hood.
Yeah, true.
I have an interesting video I want to bring up that Slayer sent over. Check this out.
What? No, I didn't send that. Was
you?
It was
Leon. Oh, it's Leon. I'm sorry, Leon. My bad. I read it wrong.
Yeah, but before we play this, I just want to. This one, let's get through the whole thing because there could be there's very interesting ways to dissect this video. It's I think it's going to give us a lot of interesting talking points to say the least. So just take it for what it is before we jump on anything.
A potential tragedy or a potential miracle. The company's drive for diversity may have jeopardized the safety of the vessel. OceanGate CEO Stockton Rush didn't want to continue hiring a bunch of 50-year-old white guys because this wouldn't be inspirational.
You'll see a whole bunch of 50-year-old white guys. I wanted our team to be younger, to be inspirational.
Some of these hirings related directly to safety and risk assessment. One of those 50-year-old white guys, David Lockridge, was fired in 2018 for blowing the whistle on safety issues. So which inspirational candidates got hired instead of those 50-year-old white guys? Well, at least one of them is a young female TikToker who shared the final video of the vessel's descent. She was hired last month. The CEO cut corners on safety and didn't take whistleblowers seriously.
No, that is something that's true. Is that the guy who built it, the CEO, is fucking stupid as hell.
I can believe honestly that the reason, like, with the submarine, at least there's no conspiracy with how it all went down. Okay, it was a faulty submarine. The company wanted to ignore whistleblower. They want to ignore the safety concerns that the 50-year-old white guy that has been there for a long time told them about, because it would affect their profits, or it would cause the submersible to be out of commission for a while, which means they can't get any more rich pricks money. And so after a while, they just kept bringing people in and in and in and in and in and in, to the point where the Josh guy from Expedition X, I believe it's called. Yes, that show. He and his crew were the previous group that was on the submersible before those rich people that died on the submarine came around. And when they got out, they made the comment on a news article that that thing was very unstable, and they had a lot of concerns what would happen to their crews, so they got off of it immediately because they were doing an episode for their show on it. So at the end of the day, this whole thing, faulty submarine, caused an implosion that tragically killed 5 people when it should, because of corporate greed.
So here's my issue with this video, because while technically what he's saying is entirely correct, the way this video is delivered, in my opinion, fucking stands on the graves of these individuals who did die, because he just wants to make it about. I get what he's saying and agree with the message, but the delivery is, in my opinion, fucking abhorrent.
Well, yeah, because he doesn't. Because whoever's making the video,
it's coming off as like a gotcha woke thing, not like a this is why.
Yeah, but they just want, like, yeah, exactly. Like with with content creation, you guys know there's always those people that will look at a tragic situation and only see a fucking opportunity to create content that they think will favor their specific perception and their audience.
Is why I haven't made a video on this yet.
I personally am not making a video on this because honestly, I'm not saying I don't care. I'm just like, you know what? What's even more? I'm not looking at this. I'm looking at the Hunter Biden thing. I'm like, wait, prostitutes are tax credit?
Exactly. That's what they don't want us to be talking about.
That fucking like press meeting that they had where she's dodging everybody.
I was like, wait, no, but because I'm thinking about it like, oh, so I can write off prostitutes as a 501c3. What are they?
I did not know that.
Look, I'm gonna send this.
But if I get them in Colombia,
you can only do that if you're the president's son.
Yeah,
I hate to
I'm gonna be honest. Look, I'm gonna be honest with the whole thing. The Hunter Biden situation, that was kind of steamy and whatnot, and that very, very lucrative news. But we all knew Hunter Biden was just kind of terrible dipshit. It's just that now everyone else that was ignorant about it or willingly chose to ignore it because they're crazy lefty activist or whatever, they finally get to be exposed to what we already knew, and that the ship is crashing down. Great, whatever. But the thing is, the real reason they quickly jumped to like just promoting the submarine story as much as possible and try to spin this whole conspiracy theory thing is because of this. Because this came out around the same time, and people were starting to talk about it. All those circles started to spread the news around, and then the normies were asking their questions, and Tucker Carlson was talking about it, and then all of a sudden, submarine imploded out of nowhere, and no one knows what happens to the passengers.
Are you saying they held off on that story? They made it last longer than it did to cover up
Yeah,
for Hunter Biden?
because they wanted they wanted people to be focused on something. They wanted people to be focused on the Hunter Biden stuff, but at the same time, they wanted something else to distract people besides that. Because with the Hunter Biden stuff, eventually it would have quickly died down because everyone knows that Hunter Biden is a terrible person. Okay,
I mean, the real big problem is that it's coming out now that they had bribery deals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But,
Biden,
like,
I mean, by rights,
yeah.
Biden himself, the press, should be headed
Look,
to jail.
the thing is, okay, like with the whole UFO stuff, every time I see these news articles talk about this UFO stuff, like, oh my God, it's a bombshell. All I can think of in my head is, bro, I've known about this for years. Like, there's worse shit that you can dig up that they will never admit within a freaking 200-mile radius of a newsroom. They would never reveal it because then that would call a lot of questions in about human rights violations and other things besides that, especially such as keeping secrecy from the people for nearly 100 years. You know,
I do find it interesting how
the world,
captivated the
by the
internet
way.
was by this story. Like
I mean, it's such an
just
interesting
how like
thing.
completely obsessed people were.
To be
because
fair,
this time period was it.
I mean, to be fair, it's kind of similar to that dude who went to the island that was just killed by arrows immediately, that missionary. It's such like kind of a bizarre thing that I get why a lot of people would be interested, whether they feel bad or they're gloating about their deaths.
Right.
I understand it being just such an awkward, weird thing that's gonna get normal people to be like, huh? And you pay attention to it.
But to follow it for like 4 or 5 days, man, I just feel like I don't know.
That
I
was
guess
overkill.
it's stringing along people's emotions.
Yeah, 100%.
And they continued it again by the conspiracy of a Russian civil war. That's how
Oh yeah,
the
I
establishment
remember that.
to distract the Hunter Biden story. They
I was
had
really wondering about that one.
era and gave it to a bunch of mercenaries to try and start a civil war in an enemy nation.
Or the news that you know, there was this American reporter, I believe, no, a British reporter. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's a reporter that went to a city in Ukraine that got recently captured, that has been under Russian control for a while, and in the previous year, the whole city was destroyed. You remember all the pictures about it, and then this reporter goes in, everything has been repaired, and then when he talks to the locals, they're like, yeah, we you know what, we actually like it here. We actually like that the Russians are here. We are completely fine. We don't want to go back to the shithole that used to be the previous establishment. And you know what?
They can knock down cities and build them back better in a much better way than any damn Yankee can.
Yeah, but you got to understand. No, but Russia. But here's the thing about people don't understand about the whole. And I'm not going to get too political with it because it's not who I am. But this is just common sense. Okay, if you look at the history of Eastern Europe, but specifically that of Russia or the Rus people, as they were called long ago. For the longest time, they were a bunch of separated federations and at points city-states that would constantly bicker and fight with each other for control of land, and then would only band together for convenience when there were external invaders involved, like the Mongols or the Ottomans, or sometimes the Catholics. But the thing is, these are countries that have had those kinds of issues for centuries. The conflict with Ukraine and them is nothing new to historians. It's just a territorial fucking spat where they just are fighting each other because one has a fascist dictator government and the other one is more towards totalitarianism, okay? And they just want more territory from the other, and so they're trying to trick their populations into believing that the opposing side is the worst thing to ever exist and that they are Lucifer reincarnated, and then they try to convince external countries that have nothing to fucking do with their spats that the other one is the devil, and then they get a bunch of money that's brought in that fuels the ever-growing arms race in the black market and just creates a bunch more pointless conflict and death. And at the end of the day, the only ones that win are the arms dealers, the private contractors, and people like Zelensky, who was able to eliminate all of his political opponents in one fell swoop during the conflict because emergency powers like fucking Palpatine. And you know who loses at the end of the day? The people on both sides. And it's fucking ridiculous.
Applause.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was a beautiful speech, Dragon Slayer, but damn, the chat's going crazy still talking about UFOs. So for those of you that
I can go there, but I don't want to
See, it works.
derail the stream.
It totally works.
I mean, the stream was already derailed like 3 times.
Ain't nobody
Yeah,
talking
but I
about
didn't
how
want
the
to. I
US
didn't want it
government's
to
turning
jump
the
off a
United
cliff.
States
That's
of
what I'm trying
America
to
into
say.
a banana republic
think
by
it's already
imprisoning their
there.
political rivals.
Really?
Banana
I thought we
Republic.
were like
UFO.
coyotes, you know,
You
hovering in the air.
can't say that. You can't say Banana Republic.
Will, what is that you shared? What is this?
Banana Republic? Yeah, that's true. What?
Wow. Nice.
That's dirt cheap.
I love how
it's
it's going
to
to be an earlier because that's all black people can afford.
No, it's true.
Wow.
Wow.
Hey,
Yo!
You had to bring a
Literally
trans
raise
to
a
the
black
line.
man.
Just play these games.
Yeah, I'm not
Listen,
gonna lie. I grew up with some of these games.
I'm not
Listen,
going to
I
share
played-
this on
I
Twitter,
played
but I will
Madden.
let you guys if you want.
Send me that
San
though.
Andreas
That's
is a lot
racist.
better.
As, hey, that's racist as hell. But send me that though.
I'll send it to the chat so you can post it instead of me. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
For anyone
Smart
watching
Will,
this, Atreus
smart.
posted this. This wasn't Will.
Yeah,
Will
it's
is
definitely not
smart.
me.
He is sending this collection to a black person so that when they post it, his hands are washed away of all guilt.
Seriously.
What a
Don't send it to me. I
typical
don't play
white
these
slaver
games.
thing to do.
I just found it such a funny.
play these
Like, I
games.
would never say that. I would never call it that, but he did, and I thought it was so funny. I had to make it. You know, I have to. I
What
You
does
got to
it say
bring the
about me?
memes to
'Cause
life,
but I
man.
am not ever going to
Oh,
attach my
and
name to it.
Casey, that girl, Casey. Look, I know exactly what you mean. I know there is more to it. I don't want to. I don't want to send this stream down to hell just to get answers.
To the
but I know
gulag.
what you're saying. Yeah,
already
I
is
don't want to
something
send it to the gulag. Okay, we haven't gone to gulag yet. Okay, so
I mean, we
I'm
have
gonna-
a couple times, admittedly, but
Yeah, welcome to the gulag.
somehow
Yeah.
we managed to get out. But you know,
Oh no, get your ass back
not
here
all
in
of
the
us.
gulag.
Atreus is still stuck in the gulag.
Yeah, he's...
No, he's stuck in the cotton field.
Bro, why you have to
Oh my
say that,
God.
man? Why you tell a black person they're still stuck in the gulag, man? Come on.
Ryan, you realize there's other sauces other than mayo, right?
What? I can't hear you over your Spanish bullshit. I can't wait
say
to
that.
Do we?
promotion.
Whoa!
I
Bro,
thought it was the French who ate mayo.
Red's
all the
face
time.
is getting even more contorted. Why you had to bring up the
Goddamn
mayo?
mayonnaise.
So
Exactly.
I
We
want to
talking
address
about
the chat
this.
real quick because I like
What
what
did I
Ark
miss?
says. Ark says honestly that UFOs can be a distraction. Just doesn't know it's gut feeling. The thing is, distractions can also be true. I
Yeah.
genuinely think UFO
Yeah.
stuff is true and a distraction.
Yeah.
Oh, they're everywhere, but what people don't know is that some of them are not all. Okay, I'm not gonna go crazy, but let's just say that not all of the UFOs that are shown on TV are 100% alien. Some of them, if you believe the whistleblowers, are basically
they're
back engineered,
China.
human-made,
There
human-handled craft. Okay,
There is
but
no intelligent life in the universe, not even on Earth. We're doing our best here, folks, to be entertaining and informative. There is no intelligent life in the universe. We're the best you've got. And Joe Biden is the best leader
That's a really
America.
arrogant opinion. How American of
This is
you.
true.
you should have
I
called him
honestly
supreme
think that
leader.
we're more likely to find some really interesting, crazy stuff in our oceans than we are in space
Dude,
right now.
okay, I have
I
a
mean,
theory
yeah.
that I don't have anything to back up. I just thought of it, but it makes sense to me. All these little UFOs we've been hearing about, they're usually over water areas. What if they're coming from like ocean, like deep under
Little
civilization?
Mermaid.
Yeah, they are. I mean,
He-
I mean, I'll be serious with you, man. It won't be the first time that there's been stories made of UFOs coming out of water. If you want evidence of that, you can go to like the stories of in ancient Africa and in other cultures, and they will say, "Oh, you know, these beings came from they came from their chariots up in the sky, and then all of a sudden live under the ocean."
Mhm.
Yeah,
it
and
makes
it's
sense
not.
to
It's
me.
nothing. What I'm trying to say is, what you're saying is very old news It could happen if you had enough advanced technology where you had a spacecraft that could easily get powered up via solar energy, and then you could just
Well, the
submerge it.
reports of these things have said that they've been moving through the air and water like seamlessly. There's been pretty much no
because basically they create their own.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is not like science fiction. This has been proven
Real
many
quick,
times.
I'm sorry to
but
cut you off, Dragon Slayer, but there's
Yeah.
someone in the chat, Daily Headlines, who just keeps calling Atreus the black guy over and over.
There are 2 black guys on this show.
There's
Some
2,
respect-
and normally
Yeah, but he earlier specifically said the one wearing red, so that's how we know we're talking about
Yeah,
Atreus.
mostly concerned
Oh
about
my
the picture
God.
that they've got.
Bro,
as their display.
Atreus, so nice, man. What the fuck, man?
What the fuck?
Atreus
Okay,
is so
so,
nice. He's
just
been
for
on
the
reality.
record, I actually
didn't
believe
even
that
see
there are that it's almost
Yeah.
impossible that there's no intelligent life out there in the universe.
Yeah,
But this is the Fermi paradox. So the basic premise of it is, if we are to assume then that the universe is infinite and vast and that all these alien species do exist, then why have we never heard from them?
Well,
But
it's simple. The information's been suppressed, but that's
Well,
been
there's
shown.
the following. The chain of reason is like there are billions of stars in the Milky Way similar to the
Yeah.
Sun with high probability. Most of them will probably have an Earth-like planet.
Mhm.
Many of them, hence the planets, are much older. If Earth-like planets are typical, some may have developed intelligent life long ago. Some civilizations may have developed interstellar travel, even at a slow pace. It could be traversed in a few million years. So why have we never heard of them? But
Yeah.
What if they have come
tell you
here and they're
guys
like,
think of
fuck this place. This place is a shithole. We're
No,
gonna
but
go
let me
away."
tell
You can get really dark and just
Yeah.
think that all intelligent life eventually ends itself.
Yeah, but
To
the
the
thing
point
is,
even-
like,
before they even get to the
civilizations
point of
don't
reaching
last
out to
that
someone
long.
else.
Yeah,
So,
but
exactly.
the thing is, like, the thing is, when we come up with these paradoxes and such, we are thinking it. That's what all these experts keep forgetting. Okay, when they come up with these theories, is that you're creating these theoretical possibilities based off of our own human perception. What if
That's really
the
what I was about to
beings?
say. So the only
Yeah, what if
sort of
the
life forms that we
Yeah.
have that we can envision, the only sort of life forms that we have in terms of science are carbon-based life forms. So let's say you've got
Yeah.
something out there that's theoretically not a carbon-based life form. We would have no science to back up whether that's possible because it's not something we've ever observed. Every single life
Yeah.
form is a
Pretty
carbon-based
much.
life form. Now that being said, while I'm full on Mulder, full on Fox Mulder, I want to believe. However, when you look at numbers, it's actually more likely that than you think that we are alone in the universe because when you break it down, when you break down the fine tuning of what you need for Earth, for all, not just for Earth to work as it does, but for everything to be a catalyst for life on Earth. Yes, there's billions and billions of stars, but you're talking like billions to the X times removed for this chance to have happened at all. The fact that Earth works the way it does is so ungodly unlikely when it comes to atmospheric pressure, when it comes to water, when it comes to just it the way gravity works on Earth specifically, again because of atmospheric pressure. It's a stupid small number, so it actually is likely.
It's so unlikely that it was probably created by someone. On that,
Yeah. No, I mean, look, we can go deep
Jennifer
on this,
Ilvesar.
but to make it very simple, imagine that long ago, say for example, I don't know, near the beginning of the universe, a couple civilizations popped up, and let's just for number's sake, say 10 popped up, and then half of those survived to reach a highly advanced state, okay, of spacefaring. Now let's say about 3 of those, or 2 of those, okay, to be a little bit more conservative here, 3 or 2 of those are able to survive, they are able to evolve and grow into societies that were able to survive what we call the wild teenage phase of blowing each other up with nuclear weapons, okay? And they found
You
that
said we're
about-
blowing each other. What happened?
Yeah,
what?
Atreus is
Yo.
Look,
talking about
They're
space.
still going to be too far from each other to ever find each other. When
No,
most
but
people
here-
talk
but
about
here-
the
but here-
universe,
but here's-
they're actually only considering the Milky
but wait,
Way.
I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to that. But then imagine that out of those surviving civilizations that have, let's just say, out-evolved their desire for conflict. Okay, let's say that they developed a society more where everyone contributes to advance the overall race. Let's say they discover a technology that allows them to travel faster than the speed of light. And let's say they have geneticists that are able to create life based off the template of whatever local wildlife they find on a planet. And let's say also that they have technologies that allow them to slowly terraform a planet over time and create a favorable atmosphere. And let's even add more to it and say, oh, what if these beings were able to create several different races on several of these different terraformed planets and taught them the concept of their culture? And then those races, let's say out of 10 of those that they developed, 5 of those are able to achieve the same thing over a period and repeat the same cycle over a period of billions upon billions of years. Now, when you think of it like that,
race.
but what I'm saying is, when you think about it in that concept, now you can say, well, shit, in reality, the universe is actually quite populated when you think of it like that. But the thing is, there are also people that don't want to consider that possibility because, let's be honest here, the scientific establishment and also the archaeological establishments are very rooted in just believing that the information that they have based off of their limited perception that they don't want to go too far out of because it would break this nice little timeline of human history. It closes them off and makes them ignorant. And in that ignorance, when they encounter something that breaks the narrative, they become increasingly hostile and try to suppress any alternative information that could prove them wrong instead of being smart enough to evolve and adapt to the new information that's coming in, like how you're supposed to do. Research and figure it out as it comes along.
Dragon is really channeling his inner coach in this monologue.
But Coach will agree with me. Coach knows about this as much as I do.
He'd be much more in depth than you.
Oh no, he would be. I'm trying to break it down and make it a little bit like, more condensed.
I have one problem with your analysis there, because I mean, yes, there's technical possibility there. Obviously, when you look at the number crunching, it's still so infinitesimally small. However, Futurama did something that I don't even know if they did this intentionally, but it's actually really brilliant if they know they did it. So you know the character Nibbler, like the little cute animal that turns out to be like this interdimensional alien. So there's this one line in Futurama that is, again, I think more brilliant than the writers even know. He says, when your universe was formed in the crucible of the Big Bang, our race was already 9 years old or 7 years old, something like that. That means his race existed outside of the concept of time. So if something can exist outside of time, then the laws of physics, the laws of the universe don't actually apply to them. So if there are beings, that existed prior to the Big Bang, then yes, it's far more likely that a being like that would be able to traverse the universe and whatnot, because they would not have to obey the laws of said universe because they existed without it. That being said, that's a wild kook theory. There's absolutely no sort of proof.
I honestly don't think that's that crazy of a theory. Like, I don't understand why it would be such a weird thing to think that there can be beings that are made up of shit from not our galaxy or planet.
Yeah, like
no, not our galaxy or planet, the universe. I agree with that. Before the universe came into the Big Bang, if you subscribe to that, there was technically, nothing. So these would have to be beings that literally do not adhere to the laws of physics.
If you believe the multiverse theory, which is actually a legit theory in scientific circles, you could say that
it's 4 o'clock in the morning. Why are we talking about multiverse theory?
Look. I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to get into that. But what I'm saying,
this is when Ryan gets cranky when he sees the clock ticking down to 3 hours.
Hey, look,
Ryan gets cranky.
He's yawning. Atreus was yawning.
2 hours for him.
It's 4 o'clock in the fucking morning here.
Screaming like
I'm just trying to beat the clock because I got to get on a plane and everything. So
it's all good, ladies and gentlemen. We hit the 3 hour mark, so we're gonna do our outros before the UFO and conspiracy talk and everything drives us another 3 hours. So let's start with Ryan because he's He's old and angry. Let's go start with Ryan.
I'm the youngest person on this panel. Thank you all very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe to the iconic Hypnotic. I'm sure you'll enjoy what he has to offer. You can check me out at Ryan Roger Athe. I'm the host and founder of Reality Based, and I am much less controversial on my own channel because I want to suppress Hypno so he doesn't reach 30,000 by the end of the month. I look forward to next week's.
You succeeded, Ryan. Congratulations.
And I need that promotion because getting over 1,600, which we have done, and we seem to have been slowing down. So I need all the help I can get. So on with the rest of the fine people here, starting with Atreus.
Oh, it'd be so great if you'd have moved on to someone else just to make Ryan wrong.
Oh,
man.
Okay. Yeah, guys. It's Atreus. You can follow me at Atreus. I have a shorts channel now, specifically for putting short version of my content. If you are busy,
not to cut you off, Atreus, but you got a fan in this chat. Just want to let you know.
Yeah, this guy, man.
Imagine being a slave to a slave.
Look at that display picture.
Imagine being a slave to a slave.
Damn.
Wow.
Damn, Ryan.
I don't know what this guy's issue is, man. He said he was just trying to.
He's
fit in, so I'm just
attracted to
making-
your. He's attracted to you, Atreus.
Anyway, hoodie must be.
Continue, Atreus.
But anyway, so guys, just follow me on Kick. I can't get off until I hit 20 followers on Kick. So for those of you who are sitting here, follow me on Kick so I can actually get off stream. Please, for the love of God.
I can't.
Please do it, or he'll be stuck in there until 4 o'clock in the morning.
He's gonna get a lot of leveling done for sure.
Fucking morning. Sound like Peter
Mr. Will, take it over.
Hello, I've had an absolute blast, everybody. Thank you very, very much. And thank you to the chat. You've been really funny. I've been keeping an eye on you all the way through. Well, most people anyway, a couple of bad apples. Anyway, come and check out my channel, Will of the Fans, where you'll see news, reviews, humor, and angry rants, often in the same video, about the state of our world, our entertainment, and everything that we love about entertainment, pop culture, and how the radicals are ruining absolutely everything that was once good and pure about all of it. I'll keep going as long as I can, and just to make sure that you're not crazy, you are not alone, and we can win this if we just try and we all work together. So come and check me out. Thank you
Very
much.
inspirational, man. Very
I love how you said not alone after just talking about
I've
UFOs
been trying to be a
for
bit
the last
more
30
myself.
minutes.
Red sings the blues. Take it away, sir.
All right. Definitely do appreciate Hypnotic inviting me on, even though the shit got crazy and I can't do this every single Saturday. But
fun,
if you guys want good commentary and good interviews, which I haven't done recently because I've been so busy, definitely do go on Red Sings the Blues. I'm doing a collaboration tomorrow with a frequent person. We're going to talk about the WGA strikes again, talk about the entertainment industry once again. So again, if you want to come over to my channel, definitely do. I do appreciate everything that you guys do for me, and not only myself, but for the panel as well.
Good stuff, sir. Thank you very much. We got Cult Classic Cage. Cassie, take it away.
Yeah, it's really fun hanging with you guys tonight. The panel as well as the chat. It's pretty insane.
Right?
Yeah.
But we have a lot of fun. But really, if you want to check out anything I got going on, Cult Classic Cage on YouTube, Kick, and Twitter. I love talking and playing video games. That's what I'm always up to. And look, you may agree with me about certain things in video games. You may disagree about certain things with me in video games. But I do give my genuine, honest opinion. And that's something I don't shy away from. So if you appreciate that, definitely go check me out. Guys, definitely Kick, man. I'm pushing Kick. I want to see more and more people make the conversion because, man, Twitch needs some competition. And Kick is picking up steam. It's been insane. It was like one night I was trying to stream. I was streaming to Kick, but I couldn't even get onto Kick to see if I was live because of the influx of new accounts and stuff. It's pretty interesting. From the 3 or so months I've been streaming on there, 3 or 4 months, it's really it's improved a lot in a small period of time. So I think that I'm willing to put my time and efforts into seeing where it goes. So definitely check me out there.
Tomboy version. Tomboy.
Is it possible to like sync that with your YouTube as well, so you could like stream on both simultaneously?
You do restream. So
I mean,
restream,
yeah.
you put the restream key into OBS, and then it streams to both simultaneously, or more than two.
Amazing.
Oh, that's wild because I'm not
Might
using
check that
Restream.
out.
I'm using OBS to stream to multiple platforms.
Yeah.
Dang. I wonder how
I'll check
much
that out.
CPU usage you're using just to do that.
I mean, I'm
No
right
idea.
now. I'm streaming to Rumble, Twitch, and then like on Thursdays and Fridays, I'm streaming
You
to Kick.
code for something, Cassie? I don't know. Is that an innuendo I don't know about?
Particularly your processor.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
computer processing unit.
Terrible.
I thought it was comedians punching up, which is the thing they're not supposed to do.
On that note, Film Rebel, why it's
Hey.
metal. Take it away.
Yeah, thank you for having me on here, everybody. It was nice to be around real people who don't give a fuck about sharing their own honest opinions and can talk real. I've been around shills for so long. It's like a baptism of honesty being here. Check out my channel, Film Rebel, for my opinions on today's entertainment, film industry, movies and shit. And also check out my other channel, Why It's Metal, where I covered heavy metal festivals, kind of my thing, along with the film industry shit. Yeah, check out my channels, and I appreciate it.
Great videos on gold and iron, folks, from Wyatt's
Yes.
Metal. And also his magnesium video is really on.
Yes,
It's really cool to
really
actually-
fascinating.
Will the
It's been
Bill
like 4
saga
months.
conclude in a good note, or is it still going?
Time will tell.
It's been
Leon.
4 months since I got to stream with Wyatt. Just wanted to say that was cool, and also sorry.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
It's been
Take it away, sir.
I mean, first of all, it's been great because Wyatt, this is my first time streaming with you. Also, my first time streaming
Yeah,
with Red.
man.
So it's awesome meeting all you guys. We've spoken in the chat multiple times, but never actually got to stream you. So that was awesome. And guys, Atreus and Cass are correct about Kick. Definitely support Kick. Go follow them there because it is, and it's fantastic free speech alternative. And it's not like one of those like Parler or any of those apps that just fade out after a bit. It genuinely is a legitimate competitor at this point, and you need to hop on there and just really appreciate and subscribe to actual freedom when it comes to content creation. I'm starting my Kick soon. It was supposed to start last night, but I'm having some audio issues that hopefully Cass will help me out. My Kick will be, you can just find me at Words of Paradise. Is going to be exclusively Magic the Gathering style content because I do want to cover what I'm passionate about, MTG, and also how much I kind of hate it right now. So yes, if you're a Magic the Gathering fan, you're interested in Magic the Gathering players' thoughts and opinions on the state of the game, or you want to see how the game works in modern settings, yeah, come check me out on Kick at Words of Paradise. And beyond that, it's just been a fantastic stream. Monday, I do my live show, The Countercast, where we will have a fantastic actor as a guest this coming week, Mr. The Coach MC, Alonzo, as well as Blaine from Blaine's Escape Corner, and the rapper None Like Joshua, all coming on. So that will be a great stream. Is Monday at 3 o'clock. And other than that, just follow me and check out my content. I hope you enjoy it. And yeah, this is Leon Idol, Words of Paradise, and I Want to Believe.
Hey, Leon, you know that you know that person that was trying to get on with Atreus because the red shirt and all that stuff in chat? He called you a freegan, which apparently is someone who really rejects consumerism and wants to help the environment by reducing waste, especially by retrieving and using discarded food and other goods. So
I mean, I did use
he's saying you're a
diaper,
great
but-
person, I guess, in a
I
weird way.
appreciate that. I got a comment on one of my Magic the Gathering Lord of the Rings videos earlier. Someone saying that I look more like Aragorn than their new black Aragorn art, and I was like, "Fuck
yeah!"
That's a win. Fucking true. Yeah.
There's nothing worse than Dick riding a black guy. I'm just going to
Jesus Christ, here we go.
Oh, come
on.
On that note, Dragon Slayer, take it away.
Oh man, hey guys. So unlike the stream, I don't exactly talk about UFOs and all types of esoteric kind of stuff. Okay, this is just the stream heat of the moment thing that just came about due to the subject. I actually make funny yet detailed and informative videos on all the terrible content that Hollywood has ever come up with. And sometimes if they get a win, I do also cover the wins, because guess what? Unlike some other channels, I don't grift on the negativity all the time. I'm willing to take
Don't
the
hate.
hit for positive stuff, because you know
Are you
what?
gonna just Hypno like that on his own channel?
Yeah, but we got to be honest about it, you know?
I am honest. Don't hate.
Yeah, exactly. Being honest helped me. Nah,
Damn.
dude, seriously. But that's what I do. And, you know, I do have quite a bit of good quality review videos out already. Like, for example, the Blériot Little Mermaid video, the incredibly successful
How you
Cleopatra
gonna talk
video.
about negativity and then call it Blériot?
I'm sorry, it's the truth. Okay, a positive one I have was on John Wick 4. Okay, that's completely positive, believe it or not.
That movie
And
is
right
not
now
completely
there is and right now there is a video currently in production of the Uwe Boll Dungeon Siege movie. That review is being worked on, so it should be out in a few days. I know I upload in the same amount of speed that it takes for the planet Earth to make a revolution around the sun, but please stick with me. I actually do put a lot of work and detailed and love into what I make. So that's really me. So if you're interested in those kinds of reviews and you want to get entertained while you see me break down mentally into one of these three personalities, then go on right ahead. Links in the description. And I'm sure Steve has been spamming my channel link a lot because I'm probably driving him mad because I haven't shut up yet. So now I'm going to shut up. And you know what? Remember, I am the leader of the Dragon Clansmen, according to Mr. Ryan, Grand Wizard Ryan. And yes, longest outro ever, because you know what, man? Why the fuck not? Right.
Clear and concise outros. That's what Coach and Dragon need to learn.
No, I'm not into that kind of shit.
Oh my God. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, listen, number 44 is in the book. I appreciate all you guys for coming out, supporting the panel, hanging out with us tonight in this crazy ass conversation that we tend to always get into every Saturday. You know, we always come into every Saturday with certain topics, and then for some reason they just tend to divvy out into craziness. But that's okay. I'm okay with it. As long as it's not about religion, of course. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for your constant support. Thank you for coming out and hanging out with us. Number 45 will, of course, be next week. Go subscribe to everybody on this panel. If you haven't already, please go show support and love. Except for Ryan, you know, he doesn't really need any more love. He's white. He gets all the privilege already.
Fuck you, Spaniard. Fuck you.
What?
Says the guy who's got a bigger channel than any of us.
It's not a good, well, you know,
I can't verify that. I haven't checked
negativity, man, negativity.
Wyatt,
Anyway.
we're gonna need you to get those numbers up real soon. Compete with your boy here.
There's no such thing as white privilege, is it?
He's flying.
I'm not in a war with Hypnotic though.
No, that's true. That's true.
I wouldn't want to be in a war with Hypnotic.
Yeah.
I've seen how he treats people on Twitter.
Thankfully, we're usually on the same side.
We are
worse than the Bolton guy from Game of Thrones. Jesus.
Yeah, it's pretty ruthless. I'm surprised I haven't got banned for a third time. I'm sure it's going to come though eventually. But anyway, guys.
Furious last time.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate all your support, and we will see you guys on the next one. With that being said, I'm going to leave you guys with the anthem as promised. Good night, everybody. Have a good one.
Thanks.
Bye.
Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong.
You guys are f***ing out of your minds.
We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people.
Oh, shit.
Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
You sound like a gay.
You matter. You matter. And I am fighting for you. And I will not stop. I will not stop today. I will not stop tomorrow. You are loved. You matter. You belong here.
Where's the other one?
I love you. You're awesome.
Man, I am not gay. I have relationships with women and sex with men.
And I got news for you. That means you're gay.